Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah I go low like undercover yeah wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위
1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? So it's your boy Jonathan Lonham and wife Michelle Lonham, and we're here with our friends from Savannah, Tennessee. My man to the left got the green hat on in a room full of toys and all sorts of little figurines and all that good stuff. Mr. Colton Flatt, how are we, my boy?
Hello, my friends. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Caleb?
How are you guys?
And of course, we got our guest host back once again. What movie was you on the last time, Brent? Was it GoldenEye?
It was GoldenEye. Yeah.
All right. Brent, what kind of guitar you got in the background there, bro?
That is a Yamaha. I don't remember right offhand. Oh, I'm not very good at it. I don't remember which one this one is. Yeah, F325.
I got you. I didn't know you was a guitar guy.
I'm not. I mean, I try. So I've been trying to pick up some, but so far, still not very good. But I'm learning.
Sometimes trying's what it's all about.
So that's definitely what it's all about. Anyway, together we are for your ears only, a Bondcast, and we come today to talk about the final so far, a Eon-produced Bond movie, No Time to Die. So before we get off into this, just want to get a round. Raise your hand if you enjoyed this movie. Raise your hand if it's if you say it's in the top 5 of the movies you like in the Bond series.
Technically, yeah.
Oh yeah, because
By
you want to say
default.
5.
By default.
All right, Brent, you get a pass on this one.
No, it's actually my top 3.
Yeah, it's in my top 3.
Oof.
Colton, what do you think about it? This, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this.
It's third.
This is the one I've been waiting on to view. I mean to review. I mean, so Colton, give me your honest opinion of it.
Well, it's a movie, and cool things happen in it. Not happy where it ends up. They did some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't like. Overall, I think the cinematography is pretty good, and the acting's pretty good. I hate some of the actors. That's all I'll say about it.
Well, I want to come back to the hate some of the actors part because I want to know exactly what
Rami Malek. I hate that guy.
Do you like Rami Malek?
No.
Wow.
I don't like the guy in anything.
Really?
Anyway, let's move on to Caleb and we'll come back to that. Caleb, what do you think about it?
First 3/4 of this movie is solid. I love it. And then, well, you know the rest of the story.
Brent.
I mean, so this is, I saw GoldenEye. I watched Casino Royale a long time ago, so I vaguely remember it, and then this one, because Caleb invited me to go watch it in theaters. So this is the only one I've actually seen in theaters. So compared to GoldenEye, I thought it was not as good. And also, as a standalone movie, it's not as good because for me, like a lot of the stuff it referenced, I didn't really get because I know it's basically a sequel to Spectre almost in a lot of ways. So as a standalone movie, like Madeline, I don't know anything about her. I don't know her at all. So like a lot of the significance of the stuff I didn't get.
There's not a lot of significance there.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Sure.
know she was in Spectre, but like I don't know anything about her, and I don't know a lot of some of the other references. But it makes sense that like because GoldenEye was the first Pierce Brosnan movie, so it makes sense they were resetting all the storylines, whereas this one is closing the chapter on Daniel Craig. So, but I mean, I still thought it was a fine movie. I didn't. I mean, it didn't wow me or anything.
I do think this is very unique. This is a very unique podcast for us because you haven't seen any of the ones that, I mean, besides Casino, you know, I think this is
and I
very
vaguely
unique.
remember it.
Yeah, like
That's one of the reasons that I really wanted him to come on here, because one of the points that I was going to make eventually was that y'all remember when Bond movies were just so easy to watch? You could just pick any of them off a shelf, put them in, and you didn't need to do any homework. And
Y'all remember when you could go to a James Bond movie and like, James Bond's not gonna die?
Yep, I remember that too.
So let me speak before we get into the guts of the movie. Let me speak on it. So No Time to Die is by far the movie that I had that I guess was closest to. My wife and I and our kids flew across the country, went to California, and saw this movie at the Chinese theater.
And Daniel Craig was in town.
Daniel Craig was literally in Los Angeles whenever we saw this movie. And what pisses me off to this day is that we were walking around Burbank, is that where we were at?
Yeah.
Walking around Burbank, we passed an IMAX theater. But, of course, I wanted to go to the Chinese theater, which is, one of the most famous theaters in the world. So
we were staying in Burbank at an Airbnb.
Yeah. So we wanted to go see it at the Chinese. Turns out freaking Daniel Craig and Rami Malek literally came out and talked to the audience at this IMAX we passed. Like, I was like, why could we not have got that?
Fair enough.
But yeah, like we went and saw Caleb's out. Anyway, we went and saw the Bond in Motion exhibit and went and saw this movie, and it was awesome. I will say this. This is by far the Bond movie that I have changed the most on. Like, whenever I saw it, I loved it. Then I didn't like it, and I liked it again, and it changes a lot with me. There is some things about this movie I really, really like. And then there's some things about this movie I despise. Like, and even the very controversial things such as, James Bond dying, I'm not necessarily against that if it's done in the right way. Hey, can y'all hear this storm going on right now?
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not necessarily against Bond dying, but if it's done in the right way, and I really don't think that it's done in the right way in this movie. But anyway, Caleb's getting back in. Let me admit him back into the chat.
Yeah, I saw that a lot of people kind of like as far as rewatching it, a lot of people liked it more on the first watch than they did rewatching it.
Yeah.
So whatever that means.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like after watching No Time to Die, it really did make me go back and view the whole Craig tenure differently. Like, I mean, I used to like say a few years ago before No Time to Die came out, I used to view the Craig tenure as just like amazing. And I think this movie made me view it as not as amazing as I once viewed it. But anyway,
can I say something to that?
yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of felt this way when I was watching it this morning. This movie almost feels like it doesn't even take place in the same universe as Casino Royale. Like, it's just really different, and I don't know if that's for better or worse. In some ways, it's better, I guess, that we get some of more classic Bond elements. But yeah, I didn't know if you guys might have felt that way too or not.
So I see where you're coming from with that, Caleb. That makes a lot of sense, and which I'm sure that comes from the differing directors throughout the the series, right?
Sure, yeah, that has a
Yeah,
lot to
like
do with it.
do you? This is semi off topic. Do you think that if they had kept one director the entire time, it would have had a more consistent tone? Clamoring for another Bond film, regardless. I think this movie and its tone and some of the stuff that happens suffers from a lot of the same stuff that the new Star Wars trilogy did.
Yeah, yes, I was gonna bring that up because I know Brent will know what I'm talking about when I say like they obviously planned on kicking off a trilogy with the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when
Okay,
you
okay.
say different directors can ruin a franchise, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is the latest Star Wars trilogy. Like that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
my point is like okay, so they actually kind of had the idea in their head of a new trilogy, but they had no idea what the next two movies were going to be.
Yeah.
And Bond is similar in that, well, they probably did not expect to want to make everything serialized after the release of Casino Royale, and then with the popularity of like Avengers and all these universe type,
Like
go ahead.
it takes a lot from even the way this movie ends. It takes a lot from Christian Bale's Batman trilogy, like Chris
Oh,
Nolan's
yeah.
Batman
Yeah.
trilogy. Like the way they kill Bond is the only way you can kill Bond is by him taking himself out. The only way you can kill Batman.
Mhm.
Like nobody's badass enough to do it.
Did Batman die at the end of the Christian Bale movies?
Yes, I'm
It's
sorry.
left.
Serious?
It's
Yes.
left
it's
to
left
interpret.
very open.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Well, the after credit scene basically says no.
Well, the thing is like the reason. Okay, this is going off on a tangent. The reason they didn't bring Christian Bale back for Batman versus Superman is because Chris Nolan said his Batman's dead. So they were gonna bring back what's his face that played John Blake Robin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They were gonna make him. Yeah, they were gonna make him Batman in Batman versus Superman because they couldn't use Christian Bale because Nolan said he's dead. So while I would rather have Christian Bale's Batman alive, it makes more sense. Like the genuine consensus is like that he died in that movie. Well, I don't
But
like
they
that.
show him at the end at the
Yeah, but
in
like
Paris.
it's like Alfred's dream or whatever. And again, I'm not like advocating for that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like I don't know. I would much rather him being alive. Same with James Bond. I would much rather James Bond be alive.
I would much rather have them let this ending a little more ambiguous, but
Fair enough.
Shut up.
Look on your face, John.
Well, I'll wait till we get to the actual scenes because I want to talk more about his death.
I
It has to do
want
with nanobots too.
I want to
nice.
say I'll sort of get us moving. I gotta mention the gun barrel.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna be straight with you. I guess the Craig era is just never gonna give me the gun barrel I want.
Oh,
Hey,
this is
dude, I was gonna say I think this might be the best one since Casino Royale. I really like the one in Spectre, but at least
I like the one Inspector more than I did this one. I just
you
didn't
do. Okay. Well, I was gonna say like objectively, I think this one is better because it actually has the like the real time reflections. But I know y'all don't really care about that sort of stuff. So, but
I like this
No,
one.
man,
I like
it's
the way
cool.
it goes from that silvery white and then it transforms into the scene of the snow. I think that's amazing.
You call me nitpicky, but there ain't
No,
no
I get
blood
it.
in it.
I think it looks
That's
cheesy.
right, dude. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
You're so right. I don't know how I didn't notice that.
I don't
But,
know. I kind of like that. I don't think there should be blood in the gun barrel. That doesn't make sense to me.
Gun barrel.
How the
Okay,
blood even
yeah.
got in the gun barrel?
Here I am talking about the realistic reflections. But yeah, I did not notice that, dude. Yeah, that takes points away. You know what? Am I even a real Bond fan? Just kick me off.
Caleb, I don't even remember the gun barrel in this scene, so I think you're fine.
Yeah,
Do you remember the one
I
from The
should have
Living
watched it
Daylights?
more, but I should have known we talk about the gun barrel, and then I forgot to pay attention to it.
They're gonna bring up a bunch of stuff I forgot, so
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's pretty much all I had to say.
well, I mean, at least you had a good a view of it, or review of it, or however you want to call it. Like differing opinions is our bread and butter, I think. So
Sure. Yeah, I love bread and butter.
I
It's my
hate
bread and
it.
that
butter.
goes without it. What?
I just wanted to have a different opinion.
That's your bread and butter.
I think it's a Goldfinger reference.
The bread and butter, because
Okay, all right.
they buttered her back.
I'm glad.
I got.
I'm glad Michelle brought up that shot. I love that shot of Saf and that overhead shot of like tracking him through the woods. Like I thought that was really cool. This movie does really have really good cinematography. Like I think it's I don't think it's quite as good as Skyfalls. Of course, that's all subjective, but the action in this movie is shot really well. I think the action scenes in this movie are a lot better than the ones in Spectre.
So the first part of the movie, we had the longest pre-title sequence we've ever had,
20 something
Yep.
minutes.
like almost 30 minutes long. And it's also very strange in the fact that it is I mean, I guess you would say, would you call it a flashback sequence?
Yeah, I would definitely call that.
And it's
like
not
maybe the
even about
first
Bond.
five.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, but I was gonna say like maybe the first 5 or 6 minutes is definitely
Yeah.
a flashback.
And it's not even about Bond, it's about Madeline Swan. And we get basically the young Madeline Swan, and at her daddy's house, and
There's not this in there.
yes, it is.
This is in there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
And we see this thing right here, which will come up later on in the movie when somebody else owns it. But in the first part of the movie, you can see Madeline owning this.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good old doo-doo. Not a lot of love for doo-doo here.
I like it.
Doo-doo's fine.
I just wish you had a better name.
Okay.
It means something somewhere else.
I know
as
what it
Michelle
means.
says. But in America, it does not mean the same thing to us.
Not everyone says doo doo.
But yeah.
So I like the conversation the mom has with young Madeline Swan. She says, "What do you think Papa does?" And then she says, "He kills people. He's a murderer. Do you love murderers?" And then later on, Safin will say the same thing about her.
Yeah. What do you think, Brent?
I think he's not a great assassin to pop up at the window like that. Good thing the mom was just completely indisposed and didn't give a shit.
I know. Like
Mother of the year.
worst mother of the year.
But yeah, just walks through the front door. But you know what? Was he looking? Did he think? What's his name, Mr. White? Did he think Mr. White was actually there? Because if so, that was a very interesting way to approach the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
I think it was really cool to have a jump scare in a Bond movie. I'm sure we've had one or two before, but it's not something you get very often. And to Brent's point, yeah, what if Mr. White just so happened to be in the living room? He would have been like, "Oh,
There's a guy in a mask out there."
yeah."
And also I do want to talk about the ages. Well, you can't really see him under the mask, but he does not look old enough in the following, like after this scene. Rami's character does not look old enough.
Yeah, on the James Bond wiki, I think that we're supposed to believe that Safin is like around 50 or something like that, like, later on in the movie. Whereas, I mean, there's not much difference in the way. I mean, I know as you said, he's wearing the mask, but I
But
mean,
you can still see. I mean, his part of the mask gets blown off. You can still see it.
And I want to say this: I don't know if anybody here really paid attention to the Bond community before No Time to Die came out, but a lot of people thought that Safin was going to be a revamped version of Dr. No. Did any of y'all hear about that?
Yes, I did. I was actually going to bring that up. The only thing Dr. No lock that I saw throughout the entire movie was at one point. Well, yeah, in the last act, isn't he wearing like a kimono? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. He's wearing one of those kind of like a Nehru jacket that Dr. No would wear. And they refer to him as Doctor in one scene at the lair.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But the reason why people referred to, I mean, were kind of thinking he was going to be Dr. No is because in the novel, Dr. No got shot through the heart. But the thing is, Dr. No is like 1 in a million people that is actually born with his heart on the other side.
That's right. Yeah.
And in this scene, it really does look, whenever she's pulling his body after she shoots him, it looks like there's a bullet going through his heart.
Oh, I did not notice that. That
So,
was really interesting.
But like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I have nothing to back this up, but I truly believe that they were probably going to really, how they brought Blofeld back for Spectre?
Yeah.
I really think they were probably going to do this, and then like they saw the negative response that Blofeld got, and like the whole fandom not liking the whole idea of Dr. No, because I mean there was a lot of talk on like the forums and YouTube channels about this. Like, I really think they just decided, okay, we're not going to do that again. We're just going to make it.
I'm almost certain that idea was probably thrown around, and you're probably right. They probably saw the mixed or mostly negative reactions and changed their mind.
But
just imagine if they had seen the negative reactions to him dying before they made the movie.
If only.
But anyway, do you have anything else you'd like to say to that?
No, I mean, I didn't notice the first time I watched it when she went under the sink to get the cleaning stuff that the gun was there.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it the first time I watched it in California, but I paid attention every time since then.
Well, see, I was kind of looking out for that whenever we first watched it, because I remembered from Spectre, whenever she told Bond, she says, a man come to my daddy's house, but he didn't know that my daddy kept a Beretta 9mm where he kept the bleach or something like that, like.
Yeah.
I was kind of on the lookout for that anyway.
Props to little Madeline for being able to handle the recoil of that gun, dude. Like, it didn't affect her little girl wrists at all. And a 9mm ain't nothing. Like,
I would assume he trained her some
shooting
wise.
Because just
because your mom's useless, so I can't count on her to do anything apparently.
So I'm gonna have to teach you how to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna have to teach you to do the dishes, all the laundry, because I'm not gonna be home. I'm gonna be off making sure folks die.
You have to pour wine, clean up wine.
He comes up to her room one day.
Wash your mom.
Hey, come outside. I gotta show you how to shoot this. Your mom's in a coma.
And then, okay, so the scene where he gets her out of the water, I couldn't tell if he was actually trying to shoot her or shoot around her.
I know, it's very like reckless abandon, isn't it?
Yeah, I at what point does he decide? Okay, I guess I'll save her life. Yeah. Like, I missed all ammo. Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like that's what it was. Like, well, I missed my entire magazine. I guess I'll save her now.
She was just flailing and moving around too much. The only target he managed to hit was her mom, because she was in a coma.
So then we get a flash forward to, I guess, the events after Spectre, and Madeline Swan and Bond are taking a vacation in Italy. And they go to a hotel and everything's going good, and we see them. So they're doing that. They're putting the things they want to get rid of on a piece of paper and then lighting it.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Like a
Oh, it's their regrets and their past. And I
Okay.
wrote it down somewhere.
They have similar things in a lot of cultures. For stuff like that, they're just burning like their memories, basically.
Whereas, like whenever Madeline she writes down it, she puts the masked man, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what that says in
Yeah,
French?
the masked man.
I found this that says it's called Saint Joseph's Bonfire. Is that right?
Sounds right.
I have no idea, so I'm with you.
Can I just say that I like this whole sequence of them like just over there rubbing your doo-doo, John? I like this whole sequence, like of them like traveling to the hotel, like because it picks up where Spectre ended. Like it's nice, but then
Yeah.
like that changes really quick,
Yeah.
and I don't like it as much.
Well, he does say we have all the time in the world, which is
Well, I mean, whenever Bond says that, it's not gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Jonathan, how do you feel about them using that line?
I'm all right with it.
Okay, well, this is how it struck me when I heard that. I thought, you really haven't earned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Caleb, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, there's that line, and there's also the musical cues that go back to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
So,
well, we can move on. It's just
I think that I think that those cues are nice in this movie because that movie deserves more recognition anyway. So anything that can be a callback to that movie, I think, is a good thing. But also, I get where you're coming from saying that it wasn't earned.
Well, they tried so hard up until this point to differentiate themselves from the old continuity.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna try to, sprinkle a little bit in.
Well, they were probably trying to make you think that she was gonna die too.
Yes, yeah, I got it from that angle too. I looked at it that way. But it's I think I'm making a way bigger deal out of it.
Well, no, like I totally think your opinion's valid, like for sure.
Yeah.
Like there's probably other people that are like, oh, stupid. And
well, that's just how it
can't
struck
articulate.
me. Well, when I heard it, I was like, you ain't earned that line. You can't say that.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily like just the way it's delivered. I mean, whenever George Lazenby delivered it on the Master's Secret Service, I don't know. It's just like
it hit different.
It does hit different. You know what I mean? Because when you're hearing Craig say it, it's like, okay, we're obviously putting it in here so we can, harken back to that. But I mean, like, it's just, it doesn't have the same effect.
It doesn't have the same
It
weight.
says it really nonchalantly.
Yeah. But so anyway, Bond is going to, conveniently, Vesper's grave is here in Matera, Italy. So they go there, and Bond goes there to, forgive. What is it to like?
He puts a note on the note. He says,
Forgive me. Yeah.
Yes.
And it puts it down there, but then he notices the Spectre card.
Mm-hmm. And then he's blown back, and I do like the effect that they do with the sound.
Dude, the sound design in this movie, the sound mixing is so good.
Yeah, I think they really did a good job with that. And of course, all hell breaks loose here. And immediately Bond pretty much plays right into Blofeld's ruse here. I mean,
a little naive.
If he had taken like 5 seconds to think any of that through,
yes,
she could have killed him at any point.
I mean, they just slept together. She could have killed him
Yeah.
throughout the night.
Like several, like she could have poisoned him. She could have murdered him in his sleep. She could have pushed him off a balcony when he wasn't paying attention. Anything.
I feel like
Like-
that's part of the reason they felt the need to have such a huge reference to Vesper right here. Because it's basically the filmmaker saying, hey, y'all remember that time? Okay, well, that's why he doesn't trust anybody anymore. And then, but it didn't really work for me. It
Yeah.
still seemed really dumb.
Was the explosion even meant to kill him?
I don't think so.
I don't
Because
think
why
so
would they go
either.
to Trouble of
mean-
pleas for Bond in the party and bringing him to the party like he was the guest of honor.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
almost
Yeah.
like Blofeld. I don't know. It's kind of Joker-esque,
He
and
just didn't want him to be happy.
like, yeah, and like how he doesn't want to kill Batman, just ruin him.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, just to
Except for later when he does try to kill him, and
Yep.
it backfires completely.
there is a line in Spectre where he tells Bond that he has been the author of all of his pain. So it kind of speaks to what you were saying.
I have a wild thing. Like, what if the groundskeeper had just been like weed eating and like went over there and weed eated in front of Vesper's grave or whatever? Boom. Like, didn't even wait for James Bond. Like, just some guy with a weed eater, you know? Like, that's
He's
a
like,
flawed
oh
plan.
crap, and he runs to the phone. Hey, Blofeld, you got to come back and plan another one. I'm so sorry.
Well, no, I mean, he'd be dead. He's just a weed eating guy. He's not James Bond.
True. Yeah.
So we also see this movie's henchman. Well, one of this movie's henchmen. What do you think about Primo, the guy with the eye? What do you think about him?
Call him Cyclops, don't they?
Yeah, Cyclops. They refer to him as that as well.
It's okay.
He might as well not have a name.
Yeah. I really like him. I don't like the eye. I think that's really ham-handed. But everything else is cool.
He's
It's
okay.
kind of like a nice callback. Oh, I'm sorry, Brent. You go ahead.
No, I have nothing else to say. Go ahead.
Well, it's kind of a nice callback to some of the other gimmicks in the old movie. Like, I know this movie tries to like make a bunch of callbacks to the old ones, and some of them hit and some of them don't. But like,
Yeah.
cybernetic eye, like, it's fine.
It's well, okay. Here's my issue. It would be fine if it hadn't already been done in every '90s cartoon ever.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I see the flaws. So does he with his eye.
But I really do like some of the action scenes here with Bond jumping off the bridge and doing all that stuff. I like how he dodges the car by, he
Ducks under it.
yes, I like that scene. And of course, all the motorcycle scenes here are great too. I like how so nonchalantly Bond, he drives the motorcycle up to the hotel and just like he gets off of it and just kind of just throws it down and walks into the hotel. And even though he thinks Madeline Swan tried to kill him, he still opens the car door for her to get in. Got to be a gentleman to the end, even if you think she just tried to kill you.
I mean, also like at that point, he's probably not trying to make a scene.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to make a scene.
Yeah, after dropping a motorcycle.
After dropping a motorcycle, you wouldn't want to make a scene.
Gunshots all through the city.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, props to the filmmakers for doing that motorcycle jump for real.
I will
I love
say
all the motorcycle stuff in this movie.
I do think I think Daniel Craig does action scenes better than Pierce Brosnan, but
I mean, stunts have
quite a
come a
bit.
long way.
yeah. That's true too, but I just think he looks better in the action scenes than
He sells
Brosnan
it
does
better.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think most people agree.
But yeah, I mean the action scenes in this movie I can't really say it I can't say much negative about them. They did them really well.
It's really just the plot points, probably.
Yes.
We get a little bit of the Roger Moore era with all the sheep being herded through there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Until you realize it's not a Roger Moore movie, and you think, "Oh my God, is he going to blow him up?" Oh, thank
You
God.
just drive right through them or something.
Yeah,
Man, like I do love the Aston Martin DB5. It will forever be my favorite car. But like, guys, like I am seriously okay with us getting another car. Like, I mean, like an actual new Aston Martin,
yeah.
Well,
like
I
there's
had a
one in the
thought.
movie that they do nothing with.
yeah, I know they do. And you know what? What pisses me off about that is, dude, they talked about that freaking Aston Martin Valhalla so much, and it's in like one scene, doesn't even drive
It
anywhere.
was such a huge part of the promotional material.
Yes. And then like that was
And
it.
I,
What
yep, I
scene's it
thought,
even in?
It's in a
um,
scene which like Q and M are like on the phone, and that's it. Like,
and then he
Oh.
drives it to Matilda's uh her parents' home, right? Or Madeline's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
what?
I thought she picked him up in it, or is that a different car? She
Hold
picked him
up.
up in?
All right, so we're getting some Aston Martins mixed up here, okay?
My bad.
You're right. My bad.
There's like
Yes.
4 of them in this movie, okay? So you
My
got,
mistake.
are you
Yeah.
good? You got the DB5, which is here, and it gets like shot the crap out of.
Yes,
And then you got the V8 Vantage, which is the one from the Living Daylights, which is the
That's the
one
one I was thinking of.
Caleb was
my
talking about.
favorite.
Then you got the Aston Martin Valhalla, which is in one scene in Q's lab.
Yep.
And then you got the Aston Martin Super Leggera or whatever it's called that Nomi is driving and picks Bond up in later on in the movie.
The one
Honorable
007's
mention
driving?
the what?
The one 007's driving?
Yeah. What about it?
Was she 007 at that point still?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So the one 007's driving.
Yeah.
Nice.
Honorable mention. It's not Aston Martin, but I think it has earned its place in the Bond car, whatever
Pantheon.
group. What's that?
Pantheon.
The Toyota.
No, I was saying no, like I was referring to what you were saying. You were talking about it's
It
earned
belongs in the car pantheon
Yes.
of
Yeah, no, the Toyota,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Toyota.
the Land Cruiser. Yeah.
Yes.
It did way more than the Ford. Was it a Fusion and Casino Royale?
Yeah. Yep.
I just had to bring that up. Sorry.
We try to forget those things.
I know. That's why I'm trying to bring it up before I start talking about the Living Daylights.
So, Michelle, what about the scene wherever they're like sitting in the car and they're surrounded by people and they're all shooting the car and Bond's just sitting there doing nothing? What do you think about that scene?
I don't know. He's just processing. But she's clearly petrified, so I don't know. You'd think he'd figure it out. Which I guess eventually he snaps out of it.
What do y'all think about that scene where like
Yeah.
they're all sitting, I mean, like Bond and Madeline are just sitting there and the car's just getting just shot up. And
Well, I like how but like at this point he thinks she set him up, except they're shooting directly at her. Like I don't know.
I'll say one thing, it's suspenseful.
it's just the way I look at it is like this is Bond like almost giving up. Like this is just like we're
Yeah.
just on the brink of like, you know what? I'm exhausted. My life has been a living hell for years now. I cannot seem to get anywhere. I'm just gonna give up.
You summed it up perfectly.
Like
Right.
that's I just see desperation in
Yeah.
that scene. Like,
Sure. I see all kinds of emotions there because what comes to my mind when you mention that is you have Madeline screaming in terror in the background and Bond isn't even hearing it. He's just sitting there kind of like you said. He's just like, what is the point?
yeah, like I mean,
If we get out of this, we're just going to be shot at somewhere down the road. So, yeah. I do like I like the battle damaged look of the Aston Martin. I think that's
I like yeah, it does look good.
Props to Q because he rebuilt it better.
yeah, sure. Yeah. It's nice to see the Aston Martin have a little have a few blemishes on it, but not be like entirely engulfed in flames, like in Skyfall. Like,
So what do y'all think about him doing donuts, shooting the place up?
Love it.
Yeah, I do too. And what about the music that's playing whenever it's happening? Like, it's just
What's your favorite?
that's like my favorite track on that soundtrack album. Like, it's great. Like,
shout out Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer, man, he laid it down for us, boys. He really did.
I love Hans Zimmer.
Dude, Hans Zimmer is awesome.
He makes everything better.
But yeah,
I wasn't really sure how I felt about the miniguns behind the headlights, but that scene where he does a donut and just becomes like this tornado of bullets, it kind of won me over.
I remember when the trailer for that movie come out, and guys, I watched that trailer like 60 times the day it came out, and like I just remember seeing that scene where he's doing that, and I was like, man, this is going to be wild.
I'm pretty sure that trailer came out. You sent it to me, John.
Yeah, I was pretty happy when that trailer came out because it's the first thing we got to see of it.
Yeah.
So
it almost seemed like we were finally getting a classic Bond movie.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? But
Man can dream.
Yep. But
maybe next year.
What?
Maybe the next one.
You get the train.
Yeah, so Bond drops her off at the train and pretty much tells her, you're never going to see me again. And I want to ask you guys, did y'all notice her first time you saw the movie, did you notice her putting her hand on her stomach?
Not the first time.
What'd you say, Brent?
Not the first time. I noticed it on the rewatch.
I've only seen it once and I didn't notice it.
Well, she did. She did do that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Well, I guess I know now, Caleb.
Next time you watch
it. She actually didn't. This is all gaslighting.
I've never watched this movie again.
Gaslighting doesn't work if you tell him the truth.
Well, like I've heard some people say that they didn't notice it. I remember whenever I watched the movie, I was like, okay, she's gonna be pregnant.
Okay.
Like
that he had a daughter. Like you already knew that was going to be part of it.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
No, I knew that he was going to die. I knew that, but I didn't know he had his daughter.
Well, I clearly remember us talking about that.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
The reason I noticed it is because I had heard a lot of rumors about this movie that I really wanted to not be true. So I spoiled the absolute hell out of it for myself.
Damn.
Because I wanted to be mentally prepared for what I had heard to be rumors. They were not. They were fact.
So I just want to say this about the modern age movies and rumors. Like, they're pretty much ruining movies for a lot of people, I think. Like, a lot of these movies are leaking. The only movie that, like, I wasn't mad about rumors going into was, like, Spider-Man No Way Home. Because those rumors were like, oh, they're going to be in it. But, like, everything else, man, like, when I hear rumors about a movie, it's like, I know it's going to be true. I know it's going to be bad. So,
man, I was thinking about that movie the other day, and I was like, I still cannot believe they really did that.
yeah, it's wild.
But anyway,
I mean, I still appreciate the way they edited the trailer to try to make it look like they weren't going to be in it, though.
Yeah,
no,
they did.
They did all they could.
Yeah, I mean, but in this day and age, like,
yeah,
you can't avoid it.
I feel like that's why they went ahead and just told everybody, "Hey, Hugh Jackman's the new Deadpool. Like, it's going to get out."
That's probably to draw it. Like, that's probably a make you look over here thing for all the other crap they're going to put in that movie too.
So, what do you think about the title sequence?
Sorry, John.
Is Hugh Jackman in it?
Yeah, he played Bond in the title sequence.
Dude, he would be the second Australian James Bond.
It was fine. It was fine.
About the song.
Better than Writings on the Wall.
Dude, anything is better than Writings on the Wall.
Is Writings on the Wall the last one?
Spectre, yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was pretty terrible.
Yeah, that was one of the most god awful songs I've ever heard. But yeah, like I actually I don't mind the Billie Eilish song. I feel like I liked it a lot more whenever it first came out. Now I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's all right. Whenever it first came
Yeah.
out, I was like, yes, like I was really excited about it. But yeah, I'm cool with it. It's not
What do
bad.
you think, Brent?
Okay, this is where I need to admit something. So on the second rewatch, I watched this on 2x speed. Because
You can do that.
what on the streaming side I was on.
Yeah, I was pretty sure. I was gonna say, I think on Amazon you can.
So I was gonna watch it today, and I had other stuff to do today, and I didn't realize I didn't remember how long the movie was, and I was like, you know what, 2x speed. But the title sequence was still good in 2x speed. It wasn't as, I mean, obviously not as good as GoldenEye, but which is the only thing I have to compare it to because I don't remember Casino Royale's title sequence, but was
Casino
not as good as
Royale's is
GoldenEye.
good.
Well,
Was not as good as GoldenEye's.
Casino Royale's is probably one of the best, so you need to watch
Top
it.
tier.
Let's see it again.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, Brent, because I know you'll do this. After we get done with the podcast, go on YouTube and look up Casino Royale's title sequence. Like, I think you'll even like the song.
Yes,
Okay.
the song is awesome. Like that's what I was referring to as the song. Like it's
Yeah.
It's Chris
But I
Cornell.
mean,
Chris
the
Cornell.
visuals and everything in Casino Royale are great.
Is the title sequence, but the title sequence for Casino Royale isn't the one that plays at the end of the movie, is it? 'Cause the
No,
one at the end of the movie is really good in Casino Royale. I remember that. Like the ending credit song is really good.
what was it? Well, was it not just the Bond theme?
I'll look it
I
up.
don't know. I remember because we talked about it, how I used to hear the song a lot when I was. Oh no, that was Skyfall. Skyfalls was really good. No, I was
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah,
Skyfall
'cause
because we talked about how I'd never watched Skyfall, but I when I was working at the cinema, I would have to clean while the credits were playing, so I heard that song so many times, and that song was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I will watch Casino Royale's title sequence when we're done.
So anyway, we come to the present day,
Well, 5 years later.
5 years later, and we have some guys rappelling down the side of a building in London. And of course, these guys are Spectre. So what about some of the office people that we get in these scenes? We get what is the guy's name? The Oberchef.
Overshift.
And guys, I'm gonna be straight with you. And like, I mean, this is gonna sound like it's an insult, but it's a compliment because he plays it like this. But God, I hate this guy. Which I know he's playing it, so we can hate him, but like he is just like the biggest, just
Well, he's playing on 4 sides here. Because not only is he playing for the lab he works for, he's playing for M, he's playing for Spectre, he's playing for Safin. So
And he does really well as a guy with literally no loyalties whatsoever. But this is just another example. At some point, I want to talk about M in this movie, because I don't know much about him, but this movie makes him look so stupid.
and like not just stupid, but at the same time, like it makes him not look like a good guy at all. Like it makes him
No.
look pretty like
Makes him look a little
That-
treasonous.
But I mean, I just want to talk about the few, there are a few examples in this movie about how incompetent he looks
yeah.
at certain points.
I agree.
And I'll talk about that more with the when we get to the nanobots.
So pretty much, Safin calls this guy and's like, Spectre's coming. You need to eat this.
swallow the files.
Yeah, like swallow the files, literally swallow them, and so they come in and pretty much just start killing everybody. And
Well, Cyclops comes in and says, "Give me Heracles," or he's there for Heracles. So I looked up Heracles because I figured there was some kind of meeting there. So Heracles is the same as Hercules.
Right, it's the Greek version.
Mhm.
So actually, like every time they reference Hercules, that I'm pretty sure Heracles is actually the Greek version, and Hercules is actually the Roman version, but we just use Hercules more.
Hmm.
It's kind of like Leonidas and Leonidas.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm being serious. That's the way.
Interesting.
Like that's the Greek way to say Leonidas is Leonidas.
This
Like,
is Sparta.
and this is an inside thing between me and her. She has a nephew named Leonidas, and whenever I'm around him, I will tell his mama, how's Leonidas doing, and his mama don't much care for that, but
His name is Leonidas.
Yeah, Leonidas, yeah.
That is such a cool name.
Yeah.
How old is this kid?
Oh, he's what, 3, 4, something like
Maybe 3.
He looked 35 at 4 years old.
that.
Dude, that's
Keep
what.
it after.
Imagine seeing a 3-year-old and you're like, "Oh, hey, little guy, what's your name?" And the parents are like, "Leonidas."
And he just kicks
And
you
he
in the
just
chest.
grows a beard right before you.
He's all of that. He is exactly what Leonidas sounds like.
That's
Be
so
careful.
cool.
Be careful holding the baby. He broke one of my ribs last week, kicking
Oh,
me.
he is so accident prone too. He's already had like 4 black eyes because he'll just run.
Oh,
into
he's just
He's rough,
He's
but
just training.
they just training.
Just wait till they put a sword in his hand. Sword and some sandals on. Mess him up.
that Spartan
What do
training.
y'all think of that big? I think it's what eventually blows up the lab, maybe. But that thing that like shoots out the magnets in the elevator shaft.
Dude,
That's so cool.
I thought that was really cool. Like,
It looked cool in the trailer, but in context, it's a bit of a stretch for me. I know I get we're talking about a Bond movie, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was cool.
no, I
I
like
do like when hold on a minute. I'm only get the pronunciation right.
Not going to get into the ridiculous science of it.
Yeah,
But
Obrachev. I do like when he's like, "Hey, there's not an elevator," and they throw him down the shaft. It's like, "Oh, magnets," and then just
yeah, just so of course Moneypenny goes into M's office.
I do want to say that the other scientist, he's like a pretty famous actor, isn't he? And like, he was only in this for like 20 seconds. But I was like, hey, I know that guy from a lot of stuff, and then boom, he was gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's just killed. That's
Hugh Dennis.
Is that who it is? Yeah, I
Hugh
can't remember
Dennis,
his name,
yeah.
but that was, I mean, that was a pretty small part for him.
And what Michelle just said, like, what about some of the jokes they were doing, like talking about what was it, smallpox in his soup or something like that?
I
Like,
think Phoebe Waller-Bridge wrote that entire scene. But yeah, I do appreciate some of the the higher frequency of humor in this
Yeah.
movie versus what we've gotten.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be honest with you, and I brought her up a few times, but I'm probably in the minority. But dude, I am so glad they brought Phoebe Waller-Bridge in this movie, like to do some dialogue. Like,
yeah, the dialogue is a huge improvement over
Yes.
Spectre, but just go ahead.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, the character of Bond in particular, I was okay. The Cuba scene, for example, I won't stay here long, but I was thinking, man, where has this Bond been for the entire Craig run?
Yes,
like
for real.
after 3-4 movies of seeing him mope around, I'm like, all right, you can have a little bit of a personality now, and in this one he does, and I really appreciate. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, totally agree. Like, yeah, and I will touch on that later on, like for real. But whenever Moneypenny walks into M's office, what does the M say? It was a gas leak, the explosion.
Yeah, and he's not really doing a good job of selling that lie, which I don't think he's trying to. I think he's trying to make it a
He's
point.
trying to
Like,
tell her to sell that lie.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I want to say something else. Was he like napping in his office? Because he's like laying on a couch or something, and then like he hops up real quick whenever she comes in. Like I don't know, like it's a weird part.
I didn't catch that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I took that as he'd been up already with this problem,
Oh, okay.
and he was.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of reflecting over the fact that everybody's about to figure out how incompetent he is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how he's just really screwed.
Wow, I'm definitely losing my job here. There's no way I get out of this. Like,
Are we talking about him?
Yep.
Yeah, he's thinking, man, I hope they don't kill me off like they did the last one.
Well, and the last thing he says is, "Where's 007?" So
And then it gives us a flash to Daniel Craig, well, James Bond, on his boat. But of course, we know that is not, in fact, 007.
Not anymore.
But he's out fishing in Jamaica. And like this is so earlier I said this movie has some things I really like and some things I don't like. This is one of the things I really like. I love that James Bond is in Jamaica. I love he's got a house in Jamaica, just like Fleming did. You know, he's got his own.
That wasn't Goldeneye, was it?
I don't think so. Is it?
Okay.
But I just love the fact that Bond's got his own golden eye down there, just like Fleming did, and like I just think it's awesome.
That what'd she say?
I said I like his little shorts.
I like his little crop top shirt.
Yeah.
Sure, y'all do.
She was like, "Why does he look like a toddler?"
No. Yeah, I do really like this. I like the whole, like the entire time we're here in Jamaica and in Cuba, but in Jamaica particularly because it just looks exactly like Bond's retirement would.
Yes,
to me.
And I also like, he goes in the house and he gets a gun out. It's not a Walther, it's a Browning high power, which is something like the SAS and the SBS would use. Kind of like
Just to
going
tell you
back
guys
to
this, the
Go ahead.
Browning High Power is my favorite pistol of all time.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. I've been looking at one. Like I've been looking for one for months. I'm gonna get one, but just so you guys know, like I love the Browning High Power.
Well, I love it too. Hey, I'll get one with you.
You should. Just so you know, like Springfield is now making a model that like looks like a high power. It's like really similar. I forget the model name of it, but I'd still much rather have like a real Browning High Power.
So
I'm
I
sorry to
want to say
interrupt you,
something
John.
else I really like. I love the fact that Bond is driving a Land Rover, and I love that it's an old one here. Like I'm so glad it's not a new one. I like those old Land Rovers like that. Love it. Love this scene. What do y'all think about the Land Rover?
It's
I
hard.
dig it.
Yeah,
Seems like something Bond would drive in retirement. It's
Yes.
Yeah.
So does he go out in order to draw Felix? Because it doesn't seem like he was about to go out. It seems like he's about to cook some fish and like chill on the beach. But then he sees the cigar ashes, and so then he suddenly gets dressed, armed, and leaves.
So I want to say something about the cigar. Did anybody notice what the cigar said on it? And Brent, you're not going to get this reference, all right? So just don't even worry about it.
Okay.
But the cigar says Delectados on it. And in the Pierce Brosnan movie, Die Another Day, that's what like Brosnan goes to Cuba and he orders he goes there and uses a code phrase, I'm here to pick up some Delectados. And I remember whenever I first watched this movie, I was in the theater and I saw Delectados on there. And I was like, my God, they just referenced Die Another Day up in here. Like,
man, somebody went to the props guy and was like, man, the fandom is freaking out over the Die Another Day reference. And he's like, what Die Another Day reference?
But
I just had some cigars laying around. They needed a cigar on set. I didn't know.
But yeah, like I really liked it. They put that in there. But yeah, to answer what you said, yeah, probably.
Okay.
But like I definitely think that's what that was. Because I mean he saw that and I think that's what made him think, okay, so Felix is in town.
He just kind of throws the fish down on the ground, though. I hope he refrigerated those. Not going to be good later.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I appreciate. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I hadn't really given that any thought. But yeah, it does seem like he was just fixing to cook him up some fish and call it a day.
Now, the shower he takes, he brushes his teeth, right? Okay, is that where they got the DNA?
That's where they got the DNA
Okay.
from his bamboo toothbrush
Yeah.
that he had.
Oh my gosh.
And guys, I'm gonna be straight with you. For a minute, I had a toothbrush that was like the same thing that he uses here.
He's a little extra.
Like I had a wood toothbrush as well for a little bit.
Okay. We'll just be sure
Just
to wash
because
it.
of this scene.
Wash it with soap and water, get all the DNA out.
You know, freaking Spectre, man. You know that.
Yeah, that does make sense because I did feel like it was kind of odd that they focused on him brushing his teeth. I was like, okay, pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen Bond brush his teeth. I guess that's interesting, but
Makes
you know,
sense, though. He's British. Probably doesn't brush them a lot.
He's picking up some new tricks in Jamaica.
He only
Learning
brushes
some
his
new.
teeth in
Hygiene.
He only brushes his teeth in retirement.
I've heard they're doing this in other places. I thought I'd try it.
So anyway,
Man,
go
thank God brushing my teeth.
Gonna make me a toothbrush from this tree over here.
Thank God brushing my teeth isn't illegal over here.
I was like, I should really patent this. I think other people would like clean teeth.
So anyway, he's driving through town and he notices Felix and does a little thing where he like pulls up, basically blocks him off, you know. So they go to a bar. Well, what does he say? Want to go
talk somewhere quiet.
Yeah, someplace quiet, and they go to like a nightclub.
Yeah.
And they're playing that game with the change and drinking scotch and drinking beer and, you know.
And we meet Logan Ash.
The Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm. I like to call him Smiling.
Immediately knew this guy was a rat piece
I
of
know.
shit.
I mean, just like he is obvious from the start. He's smiling too much.
Yep.
Bond even says that, you know.
I heard that. Okay, so Felix says my round. He goes to the bar to buy him some more drinks, and or I might have it backwards. Either way, Bond and Felix are talking away from Logan, and Bond says, "Who's the blonde?" Apparently, that's supposed to be a reference to like people giving Craig a bunch of flack for being blonde when he got cast as Bond. I don't know if that's true or not, but it'd be funny if it was.
Well, they talk about how Gorbachev was kidnapped 3 days ago, and Heracles, and Ash goes, "You're really the only guy that can do this. You're the guy." Like, he really emphasizes that it has to be Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, Logan Ash kind of sucks as a double agent. Like, I mean, he really does. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Really ham-fisted.
So Felix is like under the impression that he works for the CIA, correct? Kind of makes you wonder how he, I don't know how you would say, like slip through the cracks or whatever. Like, if he's this bad at being a double agent, how did he get this far? I don't know.
I mean, for real. Like, and how could he fool Felix? Felix is supposed to be, you know, the American equivalent of James Bond. Like, you know, I mean,
I think
Yeah.
politically appointed, because he says something like, "How did you get all?"
Oh, that's
His office
that's
was
right.
appointed, so he didn't really have a choice on that one.
yeah.
So Felix, I couldn't remember anything about Felix, and I don't know. I couldn't remember if he was in Casino Royale or,
He was.
but it's okay. He works for the CIA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He used to be a police commissioner.
Named Gordon.
Okay. So how did who all knows about Heracles? Like,
Apparently,
how did the CIA know about it? Like, I don't know.
I guess we're just supposed to take it that like they know about it now because it was stolen. Or is that your question?
Yeah,
Or yes.
well, is him telling people now what was stolen, or
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. That is a good question. Yeah.
Well, I don't think M's telling anything because later on, whenever Bond is talking to Nomi, he's like the CIA and MI6 aren't even working together on this. He said that's not good, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
well, that is a good question though, Brent. Like,
But anyways, that's all I
so,
had.
He may just know because Ash knows.
Yeah, I was gonna say it may just be a case of Logan trying to get to the scientist first,
Mhm.
but in a way that he's kind of telling on himself, right? Or he's risking, it blowing up.
yeah.
Not literally. Well, yeah, I guess literally and figuratively, but
At this point, we meet Nomi.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. At this point, we meet Nomi in the club, and of course, she sabotages Bond's vehicle. And one thing I do want to say, there's a whenever Bond leaves the nightclub, you see him, he's eating something. So the like the place that he's eating at is a real life place in Jamaica that Daniel Craig ate at while they were doing this movie. And that's what like you see him like he's coming out and I think he's like what is he licking his fingers or something or doing something like
Something like that.
yeah.
but yeah
So
that's
what is it? What is he eating? Do you
like
know?
jerk chicken.
Okay. Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
that's funny that he just brought food onto the set.
But yeah, like what was the story like the place had like got destroyed because of a fire or something like that and Daniel Craig like helped the people rebuild or something. I want to think
Oh, no kidding.
we read this.
We've read about it, but I don't
Yeah.
remember.
It's got some story about like it got like messed up in a fire or like the weather or something like that. And I think Craig helped to rebuild it. I don't know, something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
cool story.
it is pretty cool.
Anyway, and so Bond gets a ride with her on her moped, and like, man, I remember when this still of her driving the moped and Daniel Craig on the back of it, people were talking about how woke the movie was going to be and like how it was so bad. And I was like, guys, for real, like your masculinity is so insecure that you can't ride on the back of a moped with a black woman driving. You know what I mean?
Man,
Do
now
people not remember? Do people not remember whenever Pierce Brosnan rode on the back of a dirt bike with an Asian woman on it? Front
Yeah,
of
I
it?
mean,
Like, come on.
I did go into this movie kind of expecting some wokeness, I guess. But after I watched the movie, I sort of got this feeling that was all it was kind of by design. Like I feel like they just got hopped up, that narrative to sell the movie.
like honest to God, guys, like I remember when this movie came out, I really did expect it to be pretty woke, but like I didn't think it was really like, you know
Not
what I mean?
really.
Like
No.
I didn't think they did too much of it.
I don't. I don't even think the stuff they did was bad at all.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't either.
I don't know really what stuff it could be. Is it Bond riding on the back of a moped? Is it the fact that she's 007? Because
Like that's not a big deal either.
yeah, well, in universe, that number doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
No.
But to fans, it's a big deal.
Like it's not
And
like she's James Bond. She's just
Right.
007.
And I sort of took that as like her. I sort of took it as like this sort of like self-depreciating thing that like she really does, put a lot of value on that number, but nobody else does. That's
Yeah,
how
like doesn't she like? Didn't she like even ask him if it bothered him at one point? Kinda, like
Yes.
not in so many words.
Yeah, in the following scene, she does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually where we're at. So they go back to Bond's house, and at first I think Bond thinks he's going to get lucky, and then pretty much he kind of deduces, all right, so this is actually
She says, I'm giving you a professional courtesy. Leave, Gorbachev is off limits. Don't get in my way. What she says. I think it was funny though. He was like, I didn't expect you to take that off because she takes off her wig.
So you guys view that as a reference to Live and Let Die?
I mean, might be.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I just also I want to say that like she looks great with that wig on. Like I think she looks really good.
What about with the wig off?
Yeah, what about with the wig off, Colton?
Not as good. Still good looking. Just not as good looking.
I
You
think
want to see me take mine off?
he says, "What do you
Dude,
do?"
if you took your wig off, I would come steal it.
He asked her what she does. She says, "I'm a diver. I have a thing for old wrecks."
And he says, "Well, you come to the right place." Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
So, like after that, Bond calls up M, and what is it? He's like, he calls him darling or something like that. Is that it?
I don't know.
Does he? I didn't
He
catch
says
that.
something goofy to him, like, and I think M kind of pisses Bond off, so Bond gets off the phone with M, and he's like, you know what? I think I will call up old Felix Slider and go see what we can get into. So he calls
Yeah.
Felix up, and Felix is like, well, I need you to go meet this young lady in Cuba. So, you got anything?
Dude, M is grumpy in this movie, dude.
Yes, he is. Like, it's just,
Which rightfully so. I mean, he's in some hot water, but
yeah, like his life is falling apart in this movie. So,
He's just mad they didn't bring him back for those Dumbledore movies as Voldemort.
say Dumbledore movies.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what do they call it? The
I
magical
don't even remember what they're called.
beasts or something?
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts. Dumbledore's in the movie at some point.
I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure he is.
so what do you think about Bond meeting Paloma?
I just want to say I love her in everything she's in.
Yeah, she
Like,
should have been in this movie longer.
Yeah, she should have.
She should have been James Bond in this movie. Nobody would have complained.
No.
Yeah, man.
This-
Ana de Armas, man.
She's
This
a Cuban
this
gem.
entire sequence stands out. This is a standout moment in the movie. The entire time they're in Cuba, I love it. I'm not huge on the Blofeld birthday party. I thought that was just a really lazy way to tie up a bunch of loose ends.
Okay. Yes, I do agree with you on that. And I'm gonna tell you. Let me speak on this.
Go
So
ahead.
Bond's walking through there, and Paloma, like they're talking, on their earpieces, and Bond's like, "What is this Spectre? What does he call it? Bunga Bunga or something like that?"
I don't know.
And she's like, "There's a lot of Spectre agents here," and he's like, "Yeah, it looks like
All of
all of them."
All of them.
I'm like, "What? You just know every one of them by now?" Like,
Yeah.
but I will say this, okay, and this right here is really for the people who have read the novels, particularly. So the movie No Time to Die takes the most
You only live twice.
influence from the movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but in the novels, it takes the most influence from You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
So the novel,
I caught that.
Twice, like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just said I caught that. Yeah, you're right.
So the movies really don't do Blofeld like they don't do him like they do in the novels. But the way Blofeld is in the novel, You Only Live Twice, like he is like basically going crazy. Well, the way Blofeld is in this movie, he's kind of going crazy. You know what I mean? Like he's like kind of just rambling. He's talking about how Spectre's going to be, invisible gods on Mount Olympus, and all this like just kind of crazy mess,
Yeah.
That he's in his jail cell and he's talking to everybody and they're using the eye. I do think that this movie really does get at least the crazy Blofeld. I do think that this movie gets that down.
Okay. Yeah, I can give him credit for that much. And I'll be honest, when I first watched, I didn't really catch it until this last time, but when when they're watching Blofeld on the live feed, like you said, he's talking to everybody on the camera, and I really thought that he was just playing it up, but he's like talking crazy. But in reality, it's what you said, and I didn't figure it out until this last time.
Yeah, so he set up this entire thing while rambling in his cell under constant surveillance, though. Okay.
Apparently so. Like, I mean,
He's a hell of a party planner.
You underestimate me, Mr. Bond.
I mean, I feel like at some point he'd say something where they'd be like, wait a minute, what did he just say?
He is having some like really well thought out, intricate
Yeah.
conversations
Yeah.
with these imaginary people.
But so I mean, like, there is certain things that I like about this Spectre party. I do think that this is, for all the Craig era has been about, trying to be, more realistic and more, inspired by the Bourne movies, or, my God, this right here is some camp, guys. This is almost 1967 Casino Royale territory, like with the Spectre emblem on the ceiling, and I mean, it's
on the
kind of
nose.
wild, like.
Yeah.
And the eye going around on the little pillow, and it's got some wild scenes. But
It's a little wacky.
yeah, definitely. And we see I got caught up in talking about all that, but we do see Oberchef and Primo do the thing with isn't this when they take his toothbrush and
Well, just previous to the party, yeah, they had taken his toothbrush, then extracted his DNA. So
Yeah.
Cyclops thinks he's getting the DNA, for Bond, but in
but
reality,
really Oberchef is switching things out so it kills everybody but Bond, right?
I wonder, did Cyclops know this?
Oh,
Because he ends up working.
But I don't think he knows it right then. But later on, we see like Logan. Remember whenever they're playing I guess his eye footage back,
Mhm.
and like we see where Logan Ash is like, "Hey, sorry to hear about
Mhm.
sorry to hear about all that happening, but I've got a job offer
So
for
that's
you."
later, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
He's always got an eye for an open opportunity.
yeah, most definitely. But yeah, like this scene where they're shooting in this like club in Cuba, man, it is awesome. I really do like it. I like it where like it right in the middle of the fight, like Bond pulls out that bottle of scotch and pours them both some, and they drink, and then they go out and they're like,
well, when he throws that tray at Orbachev, did you
Yeah.
notice he took that drink and just killed it real quick? Yeah.
he killed it, yeah.
He's blackout drunk by the end of the shootout.
Hey, just out there, shooting guns, drink. It's the most American scene we ever had in a Bond movie. I like how they're in a 57 Chevy as well, which is also the first car James Bond ever drove in Dr. No. Is a
Dude,
57.
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'm so glad you pointed that out.
And I love it when Nomi comes, she comes and she's gonna, sweep in and take him, and Bond just shoots her hook or whatever she's holding on,
As a self-proclaimed, how does she put it? High achiever, overachiever, whatever. She's really incompetent.
Yeah, no.
She was trained by him.
Okay, well, that tracks.
We know you hate him.
Well,
In this movie,
I
I
think
do.
we're all supposed to, at the very least, not like him in this movie.
So I really think like Nomi's thing is she's like just by the book to a fault. You know what I mean? Where Bond is more like
He's a loose cannon who can't be stopped.
Yeah,
And he's too old for this shit.
kind of more unorthodox in a way, I guess you could say. Like,
At the end of this movie, when he dies, he was 2 days from retirement. 2 days from retirement. Okay.
So anyway, so we see Ana de Armas out of the movie, and Bond and Oberchef get away in the seaplane. And this is that was Nomi's getaway, right?
Yeah.
And Bond just stole it.
Mhm.
And flies out to meet Felix. And so what about this scene right here? Whenever Logan Ash is just kind of like flipping out, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. She kind of just speaks to his incompetence a little bit. Like,
Yeah, like I mean,
It's what I was saying earlier. Like you are rolling the dice here, dude. Like sending Bond to get this guy, right?
Like really, okay, like just think if you were really Logan Ash, okay, and you wanted to see this operation through, wouldn't you have already killed Felix, hid his body somewhere in that tanker, and then like been like, I don't know, in the shadows waiting for Bond to stop, kill him, take dude. I mean, like I'm no secret agent, but I could come up with a better plan than just like chilling there with
I don't
Felix.
know, man. You sure are talking like one.
Well, I mean, I don't think he was. I don't think he was planning to actually be discovered at that point yet.
I guess
think
he thought that
because
Bond
the
was
only
just
reason
gonna.
he gets discovered here is because of the scientist. Like, because um, they ask him, well, like, how did you know, or what? I forget what they asked him, but they ask him something, and he looks at, Logan Ash.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was actually planning to. He was planning to keep up the ruse for a little while longer.
Said how did you know I was going to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
That's what it was. Um, but and so we now realize the obvious. The obvious is shown. Logan Ash is a bad guy. Felix gets shot, and I'm gonna have to be honest with you guys. Like, man, losing Felix, I really did not like it. Like,
No. No. They
This is
didn't
one
have
of the
to.
hardest scenes to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the toughest death in the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Man, he just
For a movie called No
dies.
Time to Die, they find a lot of time
They do, don't
for
they?
important characters. In this one.
Yeah, dude. That was tough. They didn't have to do it. Like, at least in License to Kill, they just had his legs bitten off. He was still alive, and in fact, he was in good spirits about it. He didn't seem to mind.
yeah. I'm gonna be straight with you. It was at this point whenever I was watching the movie that I was like, okay, the Craig era is definitely ending because they just killed
Oh
Felix
yeah,
off. There's but yeah, I, I'm still not. I still don't agree with killing his character off. Like,
no, yeah.
um, but
There,
anyway,
there are other ways to write characters off. I just want screenwriters to know that.
well, I
You can
mean,
just have them retire.
well, like look at it in the classic Bond era, the way they did away with Felix Leiter. You
He
know,
just didn't show up.
it was just like I guess we're supposed to think he did retire. Because Jack
Yeah.
Wade took his place. I mean
Yeah.
that was just it. Like it wasn't like he got killed. It's just dude
I
got
mean,
his leg ripped off, and that was it. Like,
I don't know. I feel like a lot of movies don't do it enough, really. Kill characters, like they don't have the guts to kill characters off enough. So I don't mind it. I mean, of course, I don't have the connection to this character that y'all do, but I don't know. Sometimes I appreciate when they kill a character off and actually like
So
finalize something instead of just because so many movies they'll like kind of halfway do it where there's that open door for them to come back if they decide in the future to um you know go in that direction. I
Re-up their
mean,
contract.
yeah, exactly. So like I like it sometimes when they're like, no, he's dead.
Yeah. Um,
There are
I just don't.
stakes
I,
exist.
yes. Yeah, and I do agree with that, but I just don't like it when it's gratuitous, when it doesn't have to happen. Like,
well, from what Brent was talking about, like a lot of times whenever they do deaths in movies, sometimes it's because an actor wants to die on
Ow.
screen. Like not necessarily like wants this character to die. It's like a lot of more prolific actors don't get a chance to.
did you say doo doo?
No, I mean, I guess I did say doo, John. Yes, but I wasn't talking about doo. But like a lot of prolific actors don't get a chance to die on screen because you're the star of a movie. I'm not saying Jeffrey's the star of this movie. Like he's a star to me, but like a lot of bigger named actors don't get to just die in movies that they're like bigger in, like especially like if they were like the title actor. So like Jeffrey Wright could have wanted to die in this movie. I could see that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but his death sucks.
Yeah.
The way they did it, like it hurts to watch. And I think honestly, I think part of that is just because he played Felix so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me mourn. Why don't you? Just let me be sad.
Yep.
Stop injecting logic into this.
Yeah. I
now's
mean,
not the time.
Yeah,
I guess you don't
this
want to
is
bring
no
up Han
time to
Solo.
mourn.
This
is no time to mourn.
the sequel to No Time to Die. No Time to Mourn.
I still think No Time to Die should have just had a comma after no.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Punctuation's important.
Yes, it is. So anyway, Bond goes back to London, and we see him going to a garage to get his Aston Martin V8 Vantage. And in that garage, we also see this thing right here, which my mother bought me. What was it, last year for Christmas?
No, 2 years.
2 years maybe. And I went and got this from my classroom today after I got off from the grocery store. Hashtag shout out EW James.
Okay, shout out mom for getting
And shout out Kelly Lynham for getting me this this thing that's on M's desk.
Kelly Lynham.
Shout out Kelly.
Shout out Kelly.
Mama Kelly.
For Brent's benefit, real fast, that is the ornament that the prior M had on her desk in the movie Skyfall.
Oh, okay.
He willed it to Bond,
Yeah.
or they gave it to him.
So I just want to talk about the Aston Martin for a minute. This car should have been more involved in this film.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight with you. I really wish it had its gadgets on it.
Yeah. Or new gadgets. Like
Yeah.
they could have done anything with it. They could have shot this car up at the beginning of the movie, and I would have loved that shit.
I'm gonna be like just honest with you, man. Like, I love this car, Colton. Like, I mean, I do. Like, see, whenever I was a kid, The Living Daylights was one of the first Bond movies I ever saw. And like, man, just that car in it, man, it's awesome, you know?
John,
I
don't
think
know
I've
if you
said it
know
on
this.
here.
go ahead, Caleb.
I think I've said it on here before, but I love that car because to me it is like the perfect blend, 50-50 muscle car and 50-50 exotic sports car. Like,
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect. It is so badass.
it is a great looking car.
We don't have enough scenes of it doing badass shit. Like him just pulling out of the damn garage and like getting on it. It is so cool.
What if the
Like-
reason for that is because it's actually just a huge piece of junk? Like,
I don't think it is, Caleb.
I don't think it is either. But so they
I don't know.
they can't get it to like do 60 in 3 minutes. Like they're just hammering on it and it ain't going nowhere.
So that was but I just want to tell you guys, I don't know if I've told you this, but the listeners might not know this either. One of the reasons we started this podcast is because me and Jonathan got to talking about, hey, do you want to review the James Bond movies on your YouTube channel? And like, one of the reasons why is because I had recently watched the Craig movies over because I had never seen No Time to Die. And I had heard this car was in No Time to Die. So I got to watch this movie before we did this like this whole run. And the only reason I watched that movie is because the Aston Martin V8 Vantage was in that movie. I was so excited for No Time to Die. And I was let down because the car was like barely in it.
I was about to say, man, bless your heart, you didn't get much of your car,
No,
did you?
I was so let down. It was heartbreaking. So
That's
there's
true.
a good laugh for everybody out there.
But yeah, like I do love that they brought this car back. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'd be fine if they brought some of the BMWs back.
Yeah, I meant to ask that earlier when you were saying something about we were talking about the DB5 and you were
Yeah.
like, it would be nice if they used different car. How long do you guys think it has to be before we get some of the Brazen era cars back?
I have no idea.
Like 10 more
Probably
years,
fine
maybe
by
we
then.
can start. We'll start seeing the BMWs, maybe, or the. I would. I think like now would be fine. I would be fine with seeing the Aston Martin from Die Another Day.
um, I know I'm in the minority with the BMWs, man, but I would be straight up fine with them coming back in the next Bond movie.
All right, Brent, you're not as attached to the series as we are. I don't
Mhm.
think.
No, I think that's safe to say.
Uh, so when you think a super spy, car, do you think Aston Martin, BMW, or what comes to mind?
Oh, uh, I mean, the Aston Martin is like, I I do love Aston Martin. Like they've always looked so slick. The DB9 um was always one of my favorite cars. But honestly, we could use some more Jaguars.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually what he drove in the novel. Novels, right?
Drove Bentleys in the Fleming novels.
Where am I getting Jaguar?
In two of the Raymond Benson novels, he did drive a Jag though. So
Okay. Seems like I remember him reading, uh, or it seems like I remember reading him driving a Jaguar, but I haven't read anything. Anyway, I agree with you, Brent. Be a
yeah,
nice
I
change
agree
of pace.
too. I mean, I like Jags, so yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Since
I
we're
don't know,
talking about
man.
the living daylights here, we could
I,
we could bring up another spy film that Timothy Dalton's in called Looney Tunes Back in Action, where his spy car is a TVR Tuscan Sped 6.
okay.
Yep. The only time I've ever seen that car in a movie. It looks like a spy car. It looks kind of like a Jaguar. You're welcome. Since we were talking about the living daylights.
Okay. Anything else?
Where are we at in the movie?
Looney Tunes.
Okay, I'll tell you where we're at.
Um,
Bond just got back to London, all right? And he's
Hey,
about to go see him, all right? And
hey, since we're on the subject of cartoons, I do want to mention, sorry, uh, Madeline is watching Wallace and Gromit at the very beginning of this movie, and right, isn't she watching Wallace and Gromit?
I've never watched Wallace and Gromit, so I have no idea what
I love those movies, dude.
Those movies are good.
Stop motion claymation. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good medium.
I think that the same people that made Wallace and Gromit actually made Chicken Run.
I believe so.
Yeah. Those are great movies. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm glad you brought that up because I did not
Yeah.
notice it.
I wanted to mention it because
It's worthy of mentioning.
So Bond goes back to MI6 and he goes in and the guy's like, "What's your name, please?" And he's like, "Bond." And the guy's like,
Yeah, tell me more.
who are you? Um, y'all know what I'm talking about?
yes, that was
Mhm.
such a waste of that line.
Yeah. But so he goes up to M's office and Bond and M have a pretty heated little exchange here.
because M is incompetent.
Yes, definitely.
And it kind of seems like he doesn't want to
Admit that he's incompetent.
accept responsibility.
Yeah, M says,
I think my favorite part of this podcast is just Brent just shitting on him.
I haven't even started yet. I haven't even
Oh,
got
Lord.
started on
Oh,
his
man.
why he's so incompetent.
Dude, I'm just here for it. Like, this is the most enjoyable part for me.
And don't forget about the nanobots.
Oh, well, I can't wait. Oh man, I can't wait.
So one thing that M says here that I really like, he's like, he was talking about like how Bond went off the grid, and how I guess they just like assumed he was dead, right? Didn't
yeah,
they?
that's what he said.
And like I like how he was like, he's like, we didn't know you were alive, and working for the CIA. Just the way that he words that, like I just
Yes, it
thought it
seems
was-
like working with the CIA was the bigger sin.
You said, well, they asked so nicely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, Nomi asked him, he said, where's Overchoff? And he says, well, he left me for somebody else.
Hmm.
Oh, there's a lot of comic right there.
Yeah. I wish they hadn't have written her so abrasive. She's just not a likable character.
yeah, like
But I love
He
the
gets
actress.
better.
yeah,
She's
she
great.
definitely has a character arc
Yeah, she does.
in the movie.
But I feel like the movie would have been
It
better.
shifts really quick though.
It does. Yeah, it does. But she's a great actress. She was in Captain Marvel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, dude, she's great in that movie. So I don't know. I was kind of disappointed when I was kind of looking forward to her in this movie. I thought that she and Daniel Craig would have like really good chemistry, but they just wrote her not great.
So, like one of the things I like is whenever Bond's he's talking to M about Blofeld, and he's like he ran a Spectre meeting from the
Belmarsh.
from Belmarsh, like just the way
Yeah.
I just like the way Craig said that, like funny line.
Because that's just
Like-
a thing that M allowed him to do.
Yeah, I mean for real, like he just,
Yeah, I remember that line. Was he talking to him when he said that?
yeah,
I wish M would have been like, "Oh my God, I get it."
like
Well,
guys,
Well,
do it.
I wish M would have been like, how are we supposed to know they had eyes that did that? I mean, who knew that they had all these useful eyes? I mean,
Pop his eye
every
in that real
minion
quick.
they have has them, but we didn't think to check his eyes.
Like
Oh, it would have been hilarious if when Bond when he knocked it out, he like grabbed it and looked on the back and said, "Property of MI6."
I mean, they're just spitting these eyes out in a factory somewhere.
In China.
So I just want to say something.
They're eyes.
Are they pirates?
No, get it like iPhone, but never mind.
Oh damn! I thought you meant like like
No,
like
no, no,
pirates.
no.
Hey.
anyway,
I have something I want to say, Joe.
go ahead.
So does the United Kingdom not have like capital punishment, like the death penalty or anything?
I don't think they do.
Really lacking there. They should have killed this guy. James Bond should have killed
Oh
this.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
does.
He really messed up.
Well,
I get because
I
they're
think
building
I
his
mentioned
character,
this-
but
go ahead. I'm sorry. What?
I get that they were building his character with the last movie, but damn, he really should have killed this guy.
Well, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast on Spectre, but in I mean, I've read one of the unused scripts of Spectre, and in that script, he does kill him,
Yeah.
like on the London Bridge or whatever, wherever they were at in that last scene. Bond does kill him there.
Yeah. Apparently that movie had several rewrites. I think one of the endings was him and like 2-3 other Spider-Men fighting on the Statue of Liberty or something like that.
Or him and Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton, and
Kincaid, why not?
yeah,
Kincaid's
like,
there.
and Kincaid all teaming up to take that.
You guys are joking. I would fucking love that.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so he pretty much tells Naomi to go back and, what is it like search the whole man or something like that, like
Yeah.
which she seems to take pleasure in doing. So what's she say? I'll get my gloves. I just wouldn't be so eager to search Christoph Waltz. You know what I mean? Like I think I'd be like,
She's an overachiever. We've established this.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. She
And
is.
she's by the book, so. But like when
I-
Bond leaves the office, he takes his badge
Oh.
in Moneypenny's office and he tosses it. Kind of like the hat toss, but he tosses his badge into the garbage.
Definitely like the hat toss. That's
Dang, man. I'm about to watch this movie again. Y'all are putting out a lot of stuff I didn't catch.
Little details.
But Moneypenny goes up to him and was like, hey, you want to go out for dinner? And they go to good old Q's house, who is preparing food for a potential boyfriend or something like that. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I did not care at all that he was gay. Like that did not like.
It's the nanobots.
It's time for nanobots.
Like I didn't think that was a big deal. And I know some people did, but I mean,
No, I didn't care. I love this
care at
scene.
all.
I love how like just frazzled he is that Bond is and Moneypenny are here. He says, "Well, it never was a 9 to 5, was it?" And before he plugs that USB in, he says, "Do you know what this has been? Because you remember the last time we saw him plug something in."
What was it? Bond's like everywhere, I would assume, or something. That's what he said.
Well, in fairness, he did swallow it. So,
Yep.
Another good point.
I mean, it's been some places
yeah. So I wonder it works.
because that's how there's only one way it came out.
Yeah.
They pumped his stomach, right?
You have, yeah.
Yes.
There's no way to
Definitely.
pass it. It's too big.
So I just want to say, like, I like Ben Whishaw is cute. I think this scene is great. Like,
Like what I like is when Bond's just opening his wine up, pouring some.
Oh yeah. He's just helping himself.
Yeah.
And until we get to see the two cats that he was referring to in Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Skyfall. Spectre. Okay. Yep. And
I
Bond
thought it
says,
was the same cat.
"Oh,
I didn't even know there were two of them.
He might. Okay, it might have just been one, but I do.
No,
like
it probably
how Bond-
was because he sends one upstairs and then it's just there again. And then Bond makes a joke. You know, they make those with hair now,
Yeah.
right?
Man, those some ugly cats, ain't they?
They-
They really
they're
are.
not nice to look at.
And don't get me wrong, guys, I love cats, but
Yeah, sure.
those things,
Yeah.
like
I
no,
can't
no.
imagine they're nice to pet either.
don't forget to lotion your cat.
Do they get sunburned if you let them outside?
That's a good question, Brent.
So whenever they plug
I
that,
hope I
thing
never
in-
have to know. I'm sorry.
So whenever they plug that thing in, it pretty much has like what everybody like thousands of people's like what code on there or something like that.
DNA.
Like pretty much
Oh.
something that like they could wipe out like whole groups of people, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So this series has never been known for giving us like good exposition, and I meant to bring it up a few minutes ago, so I'll make it quick. But when Orbachev, however you pronounce his name, when that gas is coming through the vents, he says he basically looks at the camera and says it's working. Only Spectre are dying.
Yep.
So thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll wait till the scene with Blowfield to mention what I'm going to mention.
Yeah, man, we don't need everything spoon fed.
Yeah, I know
Like,
that
come
really
on.
was spoon feeding, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's just a course correction for movies like The Living Daylights, where you got to dig for clues. Now they're just giving them to you on a silver platter.
yeah, I guess so. Like there really is a fine line that you kind of have to.
Well, yeah.
They are
Well, I
afraid to
mean,
walk.
comparing this to The Living Daylights, like, I mean, so look at some of the John Glenn Bond films from the 80s, like The Living Daylights, or I mean, you could say License to Kill, even, or Octopussy. Like, they had so many different like plot elements going on. Like, you know, it would like
Yeah.
you know, just like okay, for instance, The Living Daylights, you had opium, diamonds, you know, like weapons,
Rambo.
everything, you know, going on. Like, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I was saying like the Bond movies has never been known for like giving good exposition.
Yeah,
And
like
when
I mean, definitely, like you would
when
have
we
to
do get it, it's just ham-handed.
you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I do feel like, especially the Craig era, it has been more streamlined and more, you know, like what you just said, Caleb. Like, you know, they do give you helpful little moments like that, so you make
They
sure.
they do a good job of holding your hand, don't they?
But
Well, we are an ADHD society.
yeah, we are ADHD now, so I mean,
I suppose.
Me.
So Madeline gets a new patient, And this is where we see Safin again. What
So
do you think about that?
Safin comes and meets Madeline at her office, and I mean, I don't know, like
I forgot he was in the movie. It has been so long. He's been off screen for so long.
so I'm going to say this, and I want to say it now before I forget about it, because this is definitely one of the things I want to voice my opinion on. I truly believe that this No Time to Die, they should have done it like that. And I haven't even seen this movie, but I just know it had two parts. What's that Twilight movie? Breaking
Dawn.
Breaking Dawn. They had like part 1 and part 2.
Yep.
No Time to Die should have been like part 1, which was like Bond dealing with Spectre. And like Bond literally killing Blofeld. And then part 2 should have been Bond dealing with Safin. Because No Time to Die, I've always felt like even like the day I watched the movie, I was like, my God, they just had so much they were trying to cram into a almost 3-hour long movie, which everybody was talking about how it was too long, but I was watching it. Whenever I got done, I was like, I don't think it was long enough. They were still like, Blofeld to me is like the pinnacle Bond villain. And I think that they should have had like the fight to end all fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like Blofeld going out like he did in this movie.
I don't either. And that would kind of fix my problem with the ending. I've always said, yeah, I do take issue with them killing off Bond, of course, like any other fan. But the worst thing about it is the fact that he gets killed by some no-name villain. Like, he's not even that special. Like, it's just another cookie cutter villain that this one just so happens to win.
Yeah, but kind of gets killed by him if you think about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll add that to the list.
Like,
Just saying.
so anyway, where were we at? Because I got off on a tangent.
Brent said I preferred him better when he didn't have a
When
nose.
Safin and Madeline are meeting.
Yeah, so Safin and Madeline meet, and Safin brings his mask, and Madeline pretty much knows right then who it is. And pretty much Safin wants Madeline to put some perfume on and kill Blofeld. Says that she is the only person who can do it. And conveniently, the only person that Blofeld will see is Madeline Swan. So, and she says that, Safin says, if you don't do this, I will kill the person you love, which I think we are supposed to think, oh, that's Bond.
Yeah.
But really, it's her little girl, which we don't know is in the picture yet. But, so where we?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Did y'all buy it when she said, when she told Bond that it wasn't his? Did y'all buy that
Not
first?
at all. Not at all. Like,
They almost immediately give that like almost immediately he's like, yeah, no, that's totally my kid. Like he knows immediately.
There was a part of me when I first saw that was like, well, he did kind of, got that part destroyed at Casino Royale. There's no way, but like, yeah,
No, he's James Bond.
Balls of
there you
steel.
go.
He never shoots blanks.
So next part.
Good job, Brent. You got me.
And what they'll do.
He did in this movie because there was no blood in the gun barrel.
so is this after
Mm-hmm.
Blofeld?
No. They're talking about how Heracles works.
What do y'all think of? I know this is from the novel, but what do y'all think of Bond just grabbing him by the throat and saying, "Die, Blofeld, die"?
So, like, okay, I like it. I really did like it in the novel when Bond kills Blofeld in the novel. You only live twice. Like, I mean, it's awesome. Now, seeing Craig do it, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to say I like it. It's a weird scene, but
It's an accident, though.
it
Like, that's the worst part of it.
Well, it was, but like for a split second, he really did want to kill him,
Yeah.
and then he
well, I mean,
got a grip on himself.
you got to think about it. Like, if you were in Bond's situation and you just had some jackass tell you that that he engineered it, so you gave up, the woman you loved. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
I
might,
get it, yeah.
you might be a little bit like, like,
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I might be kind of like a little bit, unhappy.
ill,
Yeah, ill. Sure, that's a good way to put. But maybe it was just the delivery. I don't know, but like it just kind of seemed odd. Yeah.
It was definitely odd. But yeah, I mean, guys, has anybody here read the book You Only Live Twice?
No.
You have? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a good book. You should definitely read it if you haven't, Colton or Brent. I mean, Brent, I know you're not down with the Bond stuff like we are, but if you ever do read something, hey, it is a good book.
I feel like I read it, but I don't remember it. It might have been one of the ones I've read. I don't remember.
That's the
Dude,
one.
the title sequences in the books are so much better.
Yeah, it's one page.
Well, the gun barrel sequence in the book, it was really good too. So
Yes, they're always perfect.
I can't with you guys.
I like the music in the books.
CGI kind of sucks, but
So
What's M like in him?
him in the book's awesome. Like, seriously.
yeah, he's the best M.
Like, for real, like the book M's awesome.
I think Bernard Lee is the closest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, Bernard Lee literally is the M from the books. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm sure I'm like y'all. You saw the movies before you started reading the books.
Yeah.
So like I always pictured him in that role when I was reading.
Well, from what I've read, like Bernard Lee really was was what Fleming had kind of visualized. I haven't read that. I haven't read that Fleming said that, but I've read some Bond scholars had pretty much said, Bernard Lee kind of just was that like played it to a T, exactly the way Fleming, had envisioned him. So I mean,
sure, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But anyway, sorry, I got
be a good time. When would be a good time to talk mega smack about Rami Malek? Wait till the end, or I'll wait till the end.
We're nearly there because we're
I'll wait.
The next thing that I'm not trying to jump ahead. I was just going to say the next thing that really sticks out to me is the chase scene which leads into the gunfight in the woods.
One of the other best parts of the movie.
Yeah. So of course we get Bond, going to it's Norway, right? Is that where he goes to?
I don't know. I think the point is that she called it home.
Yeah, which Bond knew where home was at.
Yeah, nobody else knows where home is.
So he follows her there, and that's where we find Mathilde. And like y'all said, I mean, guys, from the minute I saw it, I was like, of course that's Bond's daughter. Not for a second did I think it wasn't, and which is weird because a lot of the Bond YouTubers I've seen acted like they really did believe it wasn't his kid. I'm like, guys, how could you not think that's Bond's kid? You know what I mean? Like,
why would you even?
Why introduce her then?
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely, yeah.
Well, I do want to say one thing about Blofeld's death. Was his DNA not part of the Spectre DNA, like on the list of Spectre DNA? Because it made it seem like the only reason he killed him is because he touched Madeline because she had the perfume that was given to her by Saffron. Saffron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
And the only reason he killed him is because he touched her. But wouldn't his DNA have been in the Spectre DNA that was uploaded to begin with that
what?
sprayed all over him at the
I
birthday
never
party?
thought about that.
I haven't thought about that either. That's a really good point, Brent. Good looking out, boy.
Well,
But-
yeah, I guess. I mean, did Safin know that Bond was?
Blofeld.
Sorry.
So Safin didn't actually know or, suspect that Bond would go see Blofeld, but he knew Madeline would.
Yeah,
That's
that's what
true.
I was thinking.
But still, Bond
even-
should have known that he was going to kill him, is what I'm saying. Like, he should have expected that
Oh,
touching him would
yeah.
kill him.
Well, yeah, okay. There's that point. And also the movie, like this scene is whether you want to say it's edited this way, it's like implying what you said. Like the reason he killed him is because he was in contact with Madeline.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they went through the list on the USB and he wasn't on there, I guess. But I don't know why he wouldn't be on there. Why they would have a list of Spectre DNA and he's not
But
on there.
on that USB, he was on there, wasn't he? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember.
I don't remember. But I mean, you would think he would be.
yeah,
Why would they have a list of Spectre DNA and not have the leader of
not have
Spectre?
Blofeld, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if that was the case, they would have made a big deal out of it. I feel like so. Yeah.
So Bond goes to Norway, meets his kid, and pretty much he realizes that Logan Ash is on his way to kill him. So this is the part that I don't get, okay? So the DB5 had all those gadgets on it. Why does the V8 Vantage not have the gadgets on it either? Because if it did, to heck with the Toyota, get in the V8, use those rockets, blow everybody up. You know what I mean? Like,
You're underestimating the Toyota.
I mean, I can appreciate the Toyota, but like, if they had done that with the VA Vantage, I would love this movie.
Okay, but
Yeah, it'd be so. It would have been so much better.
I mean,
agree.
did it not show the car parked out at the house?
I'm pretty sure the door was still open on the car.
And I mean, was the car not parked at the house and they come and got in the?
Is it a two-seater?
Yeah.
Because they have three.
But they have a two. Okay, but it's got a back seat because that's the
Got a
same
trunk.
back seat they put the damn cello in. When
It is. They put the cello back there.
That's true, yeah.
Really glad they went back and got that cello.
Bond is a new daddy. He's trying to win over the kid, so he's not gonna put her in that little cramped back seat.
And something else, I don't want to dwell on this too long, but whenever they're driving the Toyota, Matilda says something like, "I got bit by a mosquito." That has got to, I really do think this movie,
got a fitting.
I think this movie went through some sort of like rewrite because I think maybe at one time, and I think maybe the corona, this is just me postulating on this, all right?
Dude, I
thought there was some kind of significance to it as well. Like,
I think maybe that it was originally going to be a virus, and then the flipping coronavirus came, and that was like off the table, and they just
abort.
Yeah,
that piece in there.
yeah.
well,
but
it is a virus.
Because why was that put in there? Like, I mean, just
Well, mosquitoes suck blood, and if your nanobots are in your blood, then you're contagious. And
Right.
Nanobots aren't just for Christmas.
What the
Yeah,
hell is for?
Yeah.
I
When's a
don't-
good time for me to start talking about nanobots?
now,
Now? All right. So, all
Go
right.
ahead.
I hate nanobots. Like they're so like in GoldenEye, they use the EMP or the pulse. That's the big thing, and they did that a lot. And then like that was a big thing. EMPs were the big thing to use as a plot device.
Yeah.
Now it's nanobots. Nanobots can do anything you want them to do, no matter what it is. You don't have to think about it. Nanobots can do it. You don't have to explain how they do it.
It's
it
kinda
doesn't have to
lazy.
make any sense.
It's like yes.
Okay.
Just we need a plot device, nanobots. They're magic. They can do anything.
And they're making the frogs gay.
I want to say this about nanobots. Has anyone here played Everything or Nothing?
Yeah. That was a plot point in that game.
Dude, nanobots was that was the big deal in that. That was the first time I ever even heard of nanobots was in that game.
What year did that game come out?
Like 2004 or 2005. It was like
Somewhere around there.
it had to be 2004 because that it was before the From Russia with Love video game.
All right.
Can I
Yeah, I remember. I just remember playing it on PlayStation 2. So yeah. What were you going to say, Colton?
Can I just come to Nanobot's defense?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
we're not doing that. We're not.
While I
Go ahead.
completely
Go ahead.
agree with everything Brent said, they are a terrible plot point in this movie. Nanobots in other media can be really cool when they're
They
used
can.
for like armor purposes. Like in Spider-Man Unlimited, Spider-Man had a nanobot watch that like he'd smack the button on his watch and the suit would crawl over his body. They did the same thing, very similar with Tony Stark in one of the Avengers movies. Nanobots are cool for that.
It's all
nanobots should be
That's
used
fine.
for.
I mean, as long as you understand, as long as the movie kind of makes it clear that this is not real, this is not even remotely possible. Because okay, so nanobots are a real thing. I mean, nanotech is a real thing, and it's used in the interesting thing is what they do in this movie where they target DNA. In medicine, they kind of are trying to study stuff like that. So nanotech that targets certain disease states, like for cancer, for example, that would be awesome because the problem with cancer is cancer cells are your cells. So it's so hard to target cancer cells without killing the host. So they are doing studies on nanotech basically that can target the cancer cells. But what this does in this movie is so decades and decades further than anything we can because the thing with nanobots is any nanomachinery, it still requires energy. So they can't just go and do things. It still requires energy. And another thing with nanomachines, a big problem in it is that energy has to go somewhere. Nanomachinery uses a lot of heat. Because all these little machines actually release a lot more heat than one big machine because they have a lot more space to actually release that heat.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
it's a big thing with anyways. So I just want to talk a little bit about that.
No. Keep going.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. But
you got me hook, line, and sinker.
But so I can see where they're at least in this, it's kind of something that's a bit rooted in reality, I guess. Yes, it is something that they are trying to do, sort of target particular cells, but to be able to target DNA.
Yeah.
But okay, now let me go back to M for a second.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So M
right.
has commissioned this weapon and has no failsafe for it, no way of removing it. What? There's no way you can remove this virus from someone. That is insane to me. How incompetent is he that he has commissioned all this research and there's no way to remove it?
Don't call it a virus.
You can't remove it though. You can't. Oh, it's not just for Christmas. They're there forever, which also doesn't make any sense because nanobots are machines. An EMP would knock a nanobot out. It would still, an EMP would work. His watch that he gives lighting, I'm just use that because they're machines. It would still work on them. But anyways, but that's my main thing. I'm okay, so M commissioned this, left it in control, left the research to the shadiest scientist ever, clearly a guy with no loyalty whatsoever. and has no fail safe, no way of removing this if it gets into the wrong hands, no way of stopping this virus. Like, that's just mind blowing incompetence. Anyway, so I'm done with my rant.
It's brain dead.
So
That's what it is.
that's one of my biggest rants on him and his incompetence in this movie.
Yes,
I'm done. I'm done for now.
That was perfect. Jonathan, I also like your point. I don't care how many times the producers or whoever say that this was never meant to be a virus. It totally was. It totally was.
Believe that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I loved all of that.
Yeah.
From both of you.
So
okay, so right now we are pretty much at the part where Bond, Madeline, and Matilda are in the Toyota and they're being chased by Logan Ash, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna have to come back to this because Colton has got to get off to get ready to go.
Oh shit. Okay.
no, we can finish up, man. It's gonna be okay. As long as I can have time to change clothes and go to work.
Okay.
It's
What
only
time you gotta be at work?
8.
So,
You say so?
I think we can speed it up some.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, Brent's got like 3 more nanobot rants, and I think he's got one more. One about him.
So I want to say this. I do like this. I do like the scene in the forest. I like how Bond is just like, I mean, he's basically taking no prisoners. Just like if there's somebody there, he's just like, that just finishing them off. No mercy.
There is a brutality to his methods here.
As he should.
And I also like whenever he gets to Logan Ash, he's just gonna just put a bullet in him, but it goes out. So he throws the gun down, and he tells him what does he say? He's like
he's like, "Come on, brother," or something like that.
Yeah,
and Bond says, "I had a brother."
Yeah, I had a brother. His name was Felix Leiter, and he
shut the
Yep.
car.
man and that right there, total for your eyes only vibe. Remember whenever he kicked?
Oh yeah.
He went up to that guy and he said, you left this with Ferrara, I believe, and then kicked the car off the cliff.
Yeah.
I love that part. Like,
and I want to say, even though,
go ahead.
I want to say, even though like we all agree that it sucked to watch Felix die, that was earned.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like in For Your Eyes Only.
Yes.
What were you going to say, Brent?
I was just going to say, so the brutality. Well, I want to go back to one thing about the kid. If for people who somehow didn't think it was his kid, literally Bond knows because he says when she talks about the island, she's like, "Oh, so you're going to go after him?" And he was like, "Well, I mean, I have 1,000 reasons to go after him. You just gave me a reason to kill him." So he knows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like he knew then, and so I think that has a lot to do with his brutality too, because
yes,
he's got a daughter to protect now,
and she knows that he knows, and Matilda knows that she knows that he knows that she knows that he knows.
Yeah, I don't know what she knows. She's like 4.
But of course, this is where
I do want to give her a little bit of credit. She is asking the real questions. Do mosquitoes have friends?
Man, guys, that little girl is a great child actor, is she not?
Yeah, she is.
I think she did perfect.
Yeah, no, she did great.
But I do like like just all that y'all were talking about, I agree with. And we also get, of course, Safin kidnaps Madeline and Matilda, takes them back to the island of, what is it?
Poison Garden.
Yeah, the Poison Garden, which is literally right out of the book. You Only Live Twice. Blofeld had that in the book. And so pretty much Safin is kind of just obsessed with Madeline and wants to I guess just keep her there, at the island.
Yeah.
Until he just doesn't later.
Yeah. Okay. So do you guys like his motivation?
No, his motivations make no sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one.
I pretty much hate everything about this guy.
I mean,
No, okay.
he tries to sound like but he almost sounds like Thanos, basically, where he's just like, "Oh, I'm doing this for the people. They need to be told how to live. They need to, and they just want to die without knowing what hits them. And I'll be the one to do that." But like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, all our buyers are here for this virus, so I'm gonna make a bunch of money now." And then the girl, well, whatever. We'll go on.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
So we get Bond and Nomi. They're getting ready to go storm this island, and this is when Nomi pretty much says, "You know what? I want to give Bond back his 007 moniker." So
I just
It was
wish
touching. I liked it.
What's that?
It was a touching scene. I liked it.
Yeah, I guess that's her arc. But I wish somebody would have said, "Look, Nomi, like the number means less than nothing to me. Like it's not that big of a deal."
I think it would have been funnier if she was like, "But now what number am I?"
Yeah, because I
What are we
can't
up
count.
to?
So
I mean, 008, I think that's taken.
probably dead.
I really don't know what comes after 8, if I'm being honest.
0010.
Sure, sounds right to me.
Just to say this about her character, like I feel like the reason her character is such an
0007.
overachieverish. Do what?
0007.
Just add another zero. So I feel like the reason her character tries so hard, why she's such a tryhard, is because it was probably hard for her in that field to get where she got, and she probably looked up to 007. So like I get that it means a lot to her, and I get that like she seems like a jerk in times, but
It's a
also
coping
like
mechanism.
Well,
yeah, I mean it's a coping mechanism, but also like it's like she's put up these walls because she's in such a tough field.
yeah.
Like,
And I'm sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
well, like, so being a man in that field would be hard. Being James
Sure.
Bond is hard. So being a woman in that field has to be just as hard, if not tougher, because you have just as many people looking for your downfall.
I agree. And this is the second time I believe that you've injected logic into this, and you're making it really hard to have these irrational opinions, thoughts, whatever. So stop doing that.
Well,
Yeah, okay, I got
I
you.
mean, I'm sure people around the office were like, "Oh, you're the new 007? Oh, Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
You know the person you replaced. They made like 20 movies about him. Oh, good luck."
You got to sleep with everybody now.
But so I
That
really
guy
like.
was a legend. He should have been fired like 90 times by now.
There's somebody in the back's like, he gave me a venereal disease.
So I like the airplane slash submarine that they use.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really like that. I want to see more of stuff like that. Like more like cool vehicle.
90s James Bond things.
Yes.
I don't know how practical that thing is, but of all the things, gadgets wise, in this movie, that does seem like the most practical.
So.
Yeah.
I just get confused. Was it electronic or not? Because it seemed like it just used gravity, basically.
I think it is all gravity powered, based, whatever, until it goes.
So it was
into the
basically just a
water.
glider until it got to the water.
Maybe that is based on purely nothing.
I think it's literally called a submarine glider.
Okay, cool.
I
That
mean,
works then.
what I meant to say is I knew that, and
Sorry.
I'm actually an expert on those. So
Yeah.
yes,
So
My two specialties are nanobots and submarine gliders.
yes.
As they should be.
That's my
It's
PhD.
actually- Actually, you're not gonna like this, Brent, but it's actually powered by nanobots. So
Oh my god.
I'm done.
Still a better use for nanobots.
what's that?
Still a better use for nanobots.
Yeah, it just gets really hot in there.
So they get on the island. What do you guys think about all the people in the hazmat suits out there in that like water or whatever that is?
Very
acid or
eerie
whatever.
looking. There's a very eerie image
Yeah.
for some reason.
Reminds me a lot of Dr. No.
Dr. No.
Yeah, but
Oh,
what
yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
Yeah, what is
It's
it?
acid. Did
Some
I guess
acid because whenever dude gets pushed off into it, he like
No.
But what are they doing?
Yeah.
Coca-Cola factory. They're making Coca-Cola.
They're mixing it, dude. How do you,
I don't
like,
understand what's happening here. It's a cool looking scene, but what are these people doing?
Yeah.
to be honest with you, Brent, I'm not really sure. I just
Isn't
Like they're
it
just
poison
standing
garden?
around in acid for no reason.
Like
They're gardening
okay, look,
poison.
so they're the guys that all those
It's
guys that you
working.
see.
They're done. They've gardened it.
Listen, all those guys that you see, their only job is to go around and spray the plants once a day. The rest of the time, they don't have anything to do. Safin didn't want to see them standing around, so he's like, I don't know, go stir the acid.
Go rake that acid over there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I wonder how many of these guys got fired from the Ocean Spray Cranberry Farm and then got rehired here because they're used to wearing waders all the time.
so I do like the scene
Big
when
resume.
and Nomi go in the room where Oberchef's at, and he's just talking and talking and talking, and he's what does Bond say? He's like, shut him up or something like that, or
Yeah,
she like knock him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's being inexplicably racist
Yeah,
for
Why?
no reason.
I'm not really even sure why she didn't just shoot him right then. I mean, realistically, she probably should have just shot him right then. She was going to
Yeah.
kill him later, anyways. The mission was to kill him.
yes,
Like, M literally says that because they're still listening to M at this point for some reason. But M literally says, kill Gorbachev. So why didn't they just shoot him right there?
yeah. Well,
They
like
just needed a little more comic relief, basically, and have a funnier death where he falls in acid around these guys that are just doing nothing.
I want to say this, and I was just talking to Michelle about this before we got on this. When did he become racist? Like just out of nowhere. Like it was just, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Wipe out West African.
like when did that? Like he was just like out of nowhere. Like, okay,
Well, he probably had it in him the whole time. He was just
Yeah.
waiting for that moment to step that villain notch up just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Hated this guy. Well, now he's racist.
The
Yeah,
writers
really
were
hate
like, man, I just don't know if we wrote this guy well enough. We gotta really hammer it home right before he dies. Like, let's racism. Yeah, let's write that. Yeah,
Double down.
yeah.
But of course, Nomi does throw him off into the acid pit or whatever that thing is, and Bond, of course, goes and meets with Safin, and he pretty much says, "Okay, you can take your beautiful little daughter and leave my island, and but I'm gonna keep Madeline here." And Bond's like, "No, we can't do that." And then he does Bond still got his PPK on him, so he takes out everybody and runs off after Safin.
If only Matilda would have had the foresight to bite him right there.
Yeah. And that's something else I want to bring up, like just the fact that Sappins went to all this trouble to keep this little girl, and then like she bites him or whatever, and he's like, "All right,
I don't need you anymore."
Yeah, it's just like really, like
That was another thing I was going to talk about his motive. So he brings them to this island and pretty much just lets them both go.
yes,
Like, doesn't really try that hard to keep either one of them. Like, doesn't really make any sense at all. But but I do just like the scene of her the girl just being confused, like, okay, and just running.
Even she's like,
really?
For real?
Like, are you sure?
I wish she would have turned around like halfway down the hallway, and she turns around, she's like, "You're serious?
Yeah.
I can come back.
You're not very good at this, are you?"
My daddy's gonna kill you.
But speaking of, well, actually, before we get to that, one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie is this stairwell fight.
Yes, he John Wicks his way up this stairwell.
very much John Wick right here. Like he's surviving grenades and like he's shooting people with other people's guns while they're still in the holster. Like just all sorts of crazy stuff.
So Bond is deaf by the end of this movie, right?
Dead.
Definitely.
He should have been deaf movies before.
Okay.
Well, he's dead by the end of this movie.
You're right, Brent, and I should have phrased it better. Bond is deaf and then dies, right? Because
Yeah, they just changed the F to a D.
so for people that don't know, guns are loud, and so are explosions, especially when you've survived how many explosions at this point. Just in this movie,
Yeah.
5 point blank explosions. So, yeah.
What I like is, one of those grenades falls down and he picks it up and throws it back up. Then it's like
brains grenade.
it's like
And
three.
it's like you just spawned on Backlot and Search and Destroy. Like grenades just start raining.
Just raining.
Everybody on the other team's got 3 frags. Just
And the whole time that he's going up these stairs and fighting these goons, we got that awesome song that played, earlier in the movie. Man, like that is it. Like that is my Bond action song right there.
thank you.
Primo
Again,
comes
Hans
out.
Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, man. But anyway, Primo comes out and they have a fight, and Bond uses his EMP watch. And what does he tell Q? He's like, I just showed somebody your watch.
really blew their mind.
It really blew their minds.
Because the MP made it explode.
Yeah.
You'd think with all the eyes they've made, they would think about that. Like with all the eyes Spectre's made, they should make it where EMPs don't make them explode.
Yep.
But whatever.
I
guess
wish-
they're still working on the technology in their eye factory.
And
EMPs have been making Bond stuff explode for 20 years. So
I wish in that moment Q would have realized, like, oh yeah, EMPs exist. That's how we can get rid of the nanobots.
Bond, you don't have to die. Bond.
Yeah.
he's
So
just
he
getting
finally-
back for interrupting his date.
So it finally makes it up to the top of the stairs to the control room. And I like it when Q's like, all right, we have to be very careful.
And he's just
Done.
But then like turns out on his way down, Sappin's waiting for him, and we see Bond get shot.
Well, no, he gets down because he's leaving. He finds doo-doo.
Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot about
And then
that.
the
Sorry.
door-
right.
Close. So then he's like, well, crap, I got to go back. But then he runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Safin close the doors? I guess
I mean,
It's
yeah.
yeah. He would have had to, I guess.
Yeah.
There was one part I wanted to mention like way back. The gun barrel
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
in the tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
and I also like right after that, Nomi meets up with Bond and his family.
Right.
And
Yeah. And
and like Bond
Craig, yeah, he has this puzzled look on his face. He's like, them, they're my family.
Yeah. Like,
Haven't had to say that before.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so Madeline and Mathilde and Nomi get off the island. Bond goes and does all that stuff with, gets the door open, goes back down, finds doo-doo. The door's closed. Then he runs into Safin, who shoots him. One of the few times we see Bond get shot.
Do you
And
guys think he would have died from his gunshot wounds?
I think so. I don't know, man. He was bleeding profusely.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not the expert doctor on this call. It's Brent.
well, Brent is
But-
most definitely the expert. Brent, would he have died or not?
There were nanobots. He could have survived. He probably could have just
Oh,
used
yeah,
them
they had nanobot
to save
Of course, he
himself.
wouldn't have died.
Oh.
So
Well, I don't know. I mean, he was wearing like some kind of protective vest, I think, wasn't it? Like, because either that or it was impressive that he was able to fight at all. Like after that, because he got shot directly in the back.
Yeah.
I
Look
thought
at
he
it,
had some kind of vest on.
Well, he got shot in the liver at one point, but that was probably covered with body armor. Which, yeah, you're right. He was wearing some kind of Kevlar or something, but like they make it a point to show like him spilling blood on the floor.
Yeah.
So and
True.
a lot.
So it's in this
Well,
scene.
wait. The blood I thought was from the vial.
The fight, yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
right.
I
I wanna
thought that
say-
was the significance of the blood from the vial that he.
I dropped my AirPod. Anyway, I want to say, yeah, I want to say, but there was blood in the water before Safin got to him. I think maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. He still died.
Yep, he died.
Yeah, so it's at this scene where, Safin breaks that vial on him, which gives him the nanobots or whatever, which pretty much makes it to where if he gets around his family, they're going to die. And
Yep.
I do like the way Bond just kind of just no fanfare, just kills him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do like that scene. Just point blank, just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. But of course, he's got to go up and undo the doors again, and he's on the phone with Q, and then he gets on the phone with Madeline, and they have their last moments as we see our beloved hero get blown up.
Time to die.
Yep.
Okay, so
I-
I already
I-
brought up how Bond survives all these point blank explosions, and I've got one or two theories. It's one or two things. It's the filmmaker saying, all right, Bond has pushed his luck this entire movie, surviving these explosions, and this is the last one. They're like, he's out of luck. Or they're saying, look, Bond can survive all of this. Of course, he's not dead. So, what do you? All right. So, I guess what I'm asking is, do you guys really think he's dead?
Yeah.
Okay, the way I look at it, I do think we're supposed to believe he's dead. But if you read the book, You Only Live Twice, Bond is presumed dead at the end of that book. And like even the whole thing about whenever M reads that thing, about what is it? It's like I will not waste my time trying to prolong it. I will use it. I mean, that is in the book, You Only Live Twice. And it is said in Bond's obituary. So I mean,
So my thing is even if Bond somehow could have survived this, he'd be super dead inside because he couldn't see the woman he loves and his child. So either way, he's dead. Physically.
I mean, you got to think, even if he survived that, he can't see his woman, can't see his daughter. Felix Leiter's dead.
He's deaf.
He's deaf.
What?
All right.
I can't hear you.
I do want to say something about that. Okay, so one, I like that before he goes up there, he checks with Q one more time, just be like, no, are you serious? Like, there's no way to get rid of this. Seriously? You guys were working on this that long. There's no way to. All right. But then, like, okay. Once again, they've been working on this device, this nanobot stuff for that long. All he has to do is not see his wife and kids until they come up with a cure. Until they come up with some way to, they have the best technology and resources. All he has to do is just be like, all right, look, I gotta get this stuff done first, and then I can come hang out with y'all. But no, I'm just gonna die. I'll just explode. It's fun.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think he would have bled out anyway. It was just because of that, like, because I'm with you. If that's the only thing,
like I feel like they could have worked on something. There has to be some way to remove this or neutralize it or something. Like,
and also, Bond's been a bachelor up until this point anyway. He's used to this lot, like,
That and he's sick of this shit. He knows it's not gonna stop if he's
yeah, I mean, we already got that scene in the car that we talked about earlier, like that. He almost just gave up there.
Yeah.
So wonder he made it this long.
So I just want to say, Rami Malek, they could have cast anybody else to play Safin, and I probably would have loved him. But I hate this guy. I've never seen anything that I like him in. I don't know if it's just me. He just has a punchable face.
See, I'm the exact opposite.
I thought he was fantastic.
I love Rami Malek.
To me, he looks so creepy and fit the part
Yes.
so well.
He has like uncircumcised eyes. They bother the hell out of me.
I mean, I like him as a villain. I don't think I think they could have wrote the villain better in this,
Yes.
like a lot
Agreed.
better. But I think he did the best he could with what he was given. Personally,
I think it's just because I hate this guy. Like I don't want to watch him in anything. So that doesn't help my case.
I really liked whatever that first show was that he was on. That
Mr. Robot? Is that what it's
yeah,
called?
yeah, it was that was like his breakthrough thing.
I don't think I've ever seen
The
that.
first thing I ever seen him in was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
Yes, it was also.
Mr. Robot was way before that. It was pretty good.
I wanted to watch that, but I didn't because he's in it.
Are you serious?
I hate this
I
guy,
thought he was
man.
great as Freddie
Well,
Mercury.
yeah, I mean, it
I
sucks that the nanobots also made Freddie Mercury gay. You know, but
Well, guys, I think we've said a lot about No Time to Die. And even though my opinion of it changes quite often, I do like this movie. But I just have a lot to say about it. And I'm glad that I got to say it with you guys. And even though this is the last Eon movie for right now and probably for the foreseeable future, we still have a few Bond movies to go over. So next time we're on, I want us to go over 1954 Casino Royale,
Oh God.
which you can find on YouTube, so you will not have to buy it.
Hallelujah.
Oh man, that's what I was going to use as an excuse.
Oh, well, all right. Well, you can buy it. It's not on
So-
YouTube. You can buy it.
So just so listeners know,
That's out of the bag.
after we finish the parodies or the parody and then the unofficial Bond movie, are we going straight to Indiana Jones after that?
I don't know what we're going to do. We just
I
have to
think-
figure it out.
We should do The Rock. Before
Yeah, The
that.
Rock sounds good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I
But-
love me some Dwayne Johnson. I'm sorry. I
What
would
you
like
think I was
to-
talking about?
What?
What?
we're
Yeah,
just
Dwayne
going to
Johnson.
review The
They
Rock,
started.
Yeah.
Oh, they
his
started
career
laughing.
from
We're
beginning
gonna-
to end.
Yeah,
We're
gonna
going
review-
to watch.
Scorpion
The first-
King, Rundown.
What's
Hey,
that?
Brent, his whole wrestling career.
Yes,
like-
that's what I was going to say. Like starting
Walking
with
Tall.
the first
WrestleMania is
WWE.
actually on right now. Like,
Is that what you're watching while you're doing the podcast?
yes,
I thought you were watching the game or something. I was like, WrestleMania makes sense.
Well, I'm watching the new Jumanji over here.
So anyway, guys, listen, if you made it this far and you've listened to me babble on about this, listen, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, get us out there. Even if you didn't like it, still like, comment, and subscribe, all right? And do you guys have anything left to say?
I want to know what people think about the supposed Aaron Taylor Johnson
Oh.
casting as Bond. Like, they
BS.
should comment down below.
Yeah, it's probably
Yes.
I want him to
is.
tell me your thought on nanobots.
They're making the frogs gay. I would just want them to go back to the old ways.
Me too.
Go back to the old
Yeah.
continuity after this, and I will be so happy.
Me too.
He's not my first choice for Bond.
Oh, I wasn't referring to that.
I know.
meant-
I'm just
yeah.
putting it out there.
Okay.
Oh, what if the next Bond is like a period piece?
Sure.
At this point, I don't care. Just give me
Yeah.
something. Like,
Yep.
I
It's been too
honestly,
long.
Like, I mean,
been
I'm
far
gonna
too
go
long.
watch it anyway. It don't
Oh
matter.
yeah.
Like, but well,
I think it's time for Bond to be a Martian.
Sure, well, yeah. Okay.
I think
Only if Christopher Lloyd plays him.
well, anyway,
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Dude,
bad.
holy crap. Oh no, that's the next movie. We're gonna review that.
well, Brent, dude, thank you so much for being on. And hey, you want to come back for 1954 Casino Royale?
You don't.
I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know about that one.
Well, I hope you do.
I tell you what you can do, because you're gonna go watch the titles credits anyway on YouTube.
Mhm.
Just watch the movie. Just watch the actual movie, Casino Royale. Then come back next week and you talk about that movie, and we'll talk about the worst version.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, guys, it's been fun, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
And there's no time to die.
There's just no time to die.